Hey everyone, hey and welcome back to yet another episode of Battle Rap Resume. This is your host Tom Quee. I want to kick off as I always do by saying thank you so much for listening, for subscribing, for commenting, for liking the videos. I really appreciate all the fans out there. If you want to help the show in any way, you can of course subscribe to us on any platform you listen to, on iTunes, on YouTube, all that good stuff. Leave us a review on iTunes as well, that's really appreciated. Go on the iTunes page as well, check out what people have said. We've got a Patreon as well if you want to give back to the show. Thank you so much to everyone that is giving back to the show. It's greatly appreciated. If you want to listen to episodes before they come out, bonus content, that sort of stuff. You want to, if you want to just, be the ultimate fan, go onto our Patreon. You can also get at me on the Twitter at battlerapresume. Also, battlerapresume@gmail.com is a great email to get at me as well. But yeah, I mean, got the golden boy of Don't Flop here, and beyond. In a certain, I mean, in my era, Blizzard, you were the guy, man. It's Blizzard. How's it going, man?
How you doing, buddy? Yeah, thanks for having me, Tom. How you doing?
Man, no, I'm overjoyed definitely to have you on. It's been a long time coming, highly requested. I think you never forget your first time, Blizzard, and you and Grist was pretty much, the first thing, as I'm sure hundreds of thousands of kids in that summer of 2012 kind of discovered, 2011 sort of thing, that era. But
2012, wow.
I know, a long time ago. And
where have the years gone, man?
That's the thing. I was talking to someone recently about System of a Down, actually.
And yeah.
And we were talking about, when's their last album? So their last album was 2005, Hypnotize. And we were like, I remember going to Music Zone and buying that after school in Birmingham. That was 12 years ago. Like, what the fuck?
That's scary. Jeez. Oh my god. 2005.
And I mean, talking of memories and sort of the idea of, those early adolescent years. We'll get into the battle in a second, but just in a wider spectrum, in the Suus battle, incredibly, you're 15. It's mad how young you are, really. I mean, a lot of people start on Don't Flop young, in their late teens or whatever, but you are in the mid-teens. You very, very early kind of adolescent here. What was music to you at this point? Were you always making music, or?
Yeah, I mean, firstly, thanks so much for having me, Tom. I don't think I really had the time there to say.
No. Sorry, I sort of
no.
Random System of a Down anecdote that wasn't necessary, but yeah.
I liked it. We'll get into more anecdotes.
Please.
Won't we? But yeah, with I've been making music since I was about 12, maybe 11 years old. I was always into writing and poetry, but I had a cousin who was in the music industry called Shifty.
Yep.
He's my big cousin, and he was rapping since I was about 8. So his mum is my mum's twin, so we were always together like 4 or 5 days a week. And he noticed that I could do double rhyming and I wasn't even rapping at that point. And he was like, "You seriously just did like a double rhyme, like a multi, as they call it now." And my cousin was like, "Yeah, you should totally start writing stuff down." So I did, and I was more into hip hop at that point. I wasn't really into grime so much, even though it was always around me. I was always more into like everyone's gateway rapper is Eminem, isn't it?
Right.
But that's kind of what I stumbled across first, like the Stans and Mosh and tracks like that really got me into it. And then 12, 13, I started recording properly and doing gigs and stuff. And I was always getting kicked out of gigs because they were over 18 events and promoters weren't really taking too kindly to a 12, 13-year-old kid that's about 4 foot tall rapping on a stage. So most of the time I was kind of banned from the main part of the stage when I wasn't performing. Had to stay backstage with everyone drinking fruit juices.
Yeah, on that Capri Sun life.
Oh yeah, definitely Panda Pops and all
Panda
that
Pops.
stuff. Just basically taking all the non-alcoholic drinks from other people's riders. Yeah. So, but yeah, I digress. With the Suus battle, one random bit of trivia: I've actually never watched that battle ever.
Have you not? Oh my god.
No, and I don't plan to anytime soon.
Yeah.
It's not really my finest moment,
It was, it was interesting because I before we did the episode, I honestly had never seen it. Obviously a big fan of yours, watched a lot of your battles. I wasn't aware. I think it's quite cool as well, the same way that Grist tried out against Most Prob, and to a certain extent, Impact tried against Callum Boom. You have these two sort of, future legends, quote unquote, going against each other in the very minor thing. But before we get to the battle as a whole, talk to me about battle rap. Like, how aware of you were it before you set on stage?
Well, I think Don't Flop was something that I discovered like around well, you're saying the battle's 8 years ago, so what's that, 2007?
Yeah.
2006? But before that, I was really into Iron Solomon, and I have no idea how I stumbled across Iron Solomon. I think it was just, the early days of YouTube, there was, like, related videos, and I really liked, like, Cassidy and people like Immortal Technique, and I think Immortal Technique, one of his battles came up. I think he might have been against like Diabolic or someone like that, or Diabolic was battling someone else. And a few videos later, I stumbled across Iron Solomon, and I was like, "Damn, this is actually amazing!" And I was really into it. But the way I got into Don't Flop, weirdly enough, was I was in the studio when I was about 14, and Chronicle was a big part of the Manchester scene, believe it or not. And I was in studio with my friend, and he said, "Oh, Chronicle battled this Oshea guy. You should really check it out. It's hilarious." And I was really hooked because I thought there was nothing like this in the UK. And I just messaged Rone on a whim, and I was like, "I'd love to try out if that'd be okay with you." And this was before my music really was like known. Like, I was still a nobody. To be honest, I still am. But I asked him if I could do it, and I assumed everyone freestyled. So I went there with no written material and just tried to freestyle, even though I've never had any prior practice in doing so. I went there and I tried my material, choked, I think, in every single round, at least 5 times each time. And as soon as Suus rapped, and I realised that he actually had everything prepared, I just knew it was game over, really. And it was terrible, man. Like, I'm still suffering from the PTSD, I think. Jeez, yeah, it was not pleasant. And if that was someone's first introduction to me, I'd be surprised if they never watched the battle since.
It is surprising, because I watched this, and I think you're selling yourself short a little bit. There is definitely those technical glimpses. You said earlier of Shifty seeing that sort of double rhyming and stuff like that. And, when you watch there are modes that you get into. It's like, okay, this guy can do certain stuff. And I know what you're saying as well about thinking it was all freestyled. I remember watching Eddie P and Frisco versus Lunacy and Matter, and thinking it was
great battle.
I thought it was all freestyled. I was that stupid.
Really?
I was like, they just made all this stuff up in the go, all these double entendres, all these references to life, whatever. But yeah, I after watching this battle, I did think to myself, if you were to put your money on which one of these would have become a viral star by the end of the year, it wouldn't have been you. No offense, it wouldn't have been you.
Yeah. No, I completely agree with you. To be honest, I thought after the battle, Suus was gonna go on and be like the golden boy, and to be honest, he had a few years of it, and he was pretty much on all the big flyers and all of the big events. He was there. Like, he battled he battled Tony D.
He battled Innuendo, yeah. Jefferson Price, like all.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. There was, that was where you battled H-Bomb as well. But I mean, we'll get onto this this battle in depth now against Suus, and it's quite funny. It's quite funny actually, where is introducing it as another thing from the Don't Flop Youth League.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, no, I don't think it was a thing. But
it never went into anything. I don't think it ever gravitated into anything.
No,
I think it was just. I was very excited that there was 2 15-year-olds on the platform.
Yeah, definitely. It's not kind of like a drunken mate of Sprungy. It's like two, you know what I mean? I mean, they are there as well. And I've always felt as well, Don't Flop, like, I appreciate it's difficult to do, but you do often see these viral videos from British schoolyards of battles happening. And if Don't Flop was smart, they do like a sort of secondary school league, which I know it sounds kind of lame, but you know what I mean?
Everyone in their blazers and ties and stuff. Let me just put my satchel down.
Yeah, just repping St. Francis Comprehensive, like, I don't know what your ends are, but regardless, says, 2 15-year-olds coming to the league. Says as well, we haven't had 2 of these age for 6 months. I don't know who he's referring to, actually.
I have no idea. That is a very good question. I didn't think there was anybody that was as young as me at the time. Awesome.
But I know I'm going to smash it because this joker shit at rapping. Go home and do some practice and focus on your tactics. I'd say it'd hate you, but that means I'd have to have an emotional attachment to this phony little spastic. Listen to you shit on your tunes. I'm an instrumental rock band, so we still have better lyrics than you. Don't start, kid. Your flow's harmless. You should battle LNC and see what choke artist can go hardest. Matter of fact, you should battle Little B or maybe Joe Davis. I know his band, you couldn't still take a win, you see. You couldn't battle no one, buddy. You'll get beat by a sober Sprungy. Then again, you probably fucking used to a homeless junkie.
You say in your intro you're representing grime deviants?
Oh, yeah, that was something. Oh, wow, that's taking me back. This was like a little crew that I put together. Do you remember Sean O'Mac?
Oh, of course, yeah.
Yeah, so me and Sean O'Mac were trying to be the next Outcast at the time. That didn't really go anywhere. But I mean, I was 15 years old. I think everyone that's been rapping since 12 years old has been in about 15 crews. I think my first nickname was actually Rude Boy, and named after the guy from Kaching.
Oh, love Kaching. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so I have no idea why I took that name. I also named myself Skepta G, and then somebody reminded me that there is a Skepta in the grime scene, so I don't think that's going to run.
No.
And I think that was a 1 month period after first discovering Lord of the Mics. But Grime Deviants, man. I was just basically making beats, and we never actually went to the studio, I don't think. But it was just something we did, and we was in the park and stuff rapping, and we felt like badasses, really. But yeah, Grime Deviants.
Grime Deviants, yeah, I mean, that's the thing. People shout out these things in the intros, and I always kind of squeeze my ear. I'm like, what did I actually say? You know, I want to bring it up in the episode. So yeah, Grime Deviants. Talk to me as well about the name Blizzard. Where did that come from?
Oh yeah, you know, when people talk about their nicknames and where the inception was, everyone has these really interesting things. Like, I was walking in a park one day and I saw something in the mist. It was a piece of paper, and on it said Sprungy. Like, I don't have any interesting story like that. Basically, the adjective that was familiar in my area was cold. So people would say, "Oh, them trainers are cold," or "They're cold lyrics," and I thought, what's cold? I'll go with Blizzard. It happened. That was it. Yeah. So it stuck with me. Yeah, I think it works because I'm white as hell.
Yeah. I think it's definitely a gift to your opponents, isn't it? For name flips and angles and
everybody. Like, I wish that I could see into the future when I was thinking of that name, because I didn't know that it was just going to be a target for everyone. Like, Blizzard, barely a weather warning. I think that's what Suus said, isn't it? And
Yeah.
Yeah, and then even like Grist saying, the company that made World of Warcraft. I had no idea what World of Warcraft was when I created it.
Oh.
But I'm a big Hearthstone fan now, so it's kind of ironic.
Yeah.
Blizzard playing Blizzard games.
Yeah, certainly. Well, Suus actually mentions Blizzard as well. As a World of Warcraft company, so it's interesting that Grist will kind of pick up on that. Suus, of course, is also 15 at this time. In the introduction, ask you for your lunch money. It's interesting when you look at kind of the growth of Don't Flop, and I mean maybe the demise of Don't Flop, which we'll get onto later. But you know, in this time, definitely the growth of Don't Flop, the demographics that it goes through as well, the audience members. Fair to say that you and Suus, you're two sort of 50-year-old young lads, quite an aggressive macho atmosphere in here. A lot of kind of, Manchester men watching.
Oh, yeah. It's like, I think I had a bit of little man syndrome going on, because I was around all these people that I actually liked, and I'd been watching the videos for a few months before I'd even asked to try out. So, being completely frank, I was bricking it. I was really nervous. And I mean, 15 years old, you think that you think you're Atlas with the world on your shoulders, but realistically, in those high pressure situations, you can struggle. And I did, because I didn't know what was coming. So when Suus rapped his first round, I was like, yeah, that's the haymaker that I deserve for not preparing material. But yeah, I think at the time though, I wanted to say that I'd done it. Almost like a bucket list, because after seeing like Iron Solomon and Immortal Technique, and even going further back and seeing like Mike Assassin and Koolez and people like that, like I was really just interested in it, and I always wanted to go to Scala and do jump off, but I was too young and I didn't have the courage to ask. I think it was Benny Scars at the time, but I digress. But I wasn't really too familiar with what was going on, so I crumbled really badly against Suus. But I guess that's what happens when you don't prepare material. I didn't make that mistake again, though. Don't get me wrong.
Oh no, definitely not. And Suus starts with kind of the classic. I like this, you like that. So Suus likes Jurassic 5, you like Electric 6.
Great line, great line. Yeah. And I didn't know. I had to Google that when I got home, and I was like, damn, that took 3 hours to realise what he meant.
Yeah, pretty strong. Your mom's a dinner lady. She always gives Suus extra servings.
Extra servings. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's kind of, circa, almost pre-lunacy kind of stuff here, but still pretty good. I mean, in your first here, kind of it's a bit struggle, isn't it? You don't like, there's certain stuff here, scared to have emotional attachment to this phony little spastic and kind of slight little lines here and there, but it's not the Blizzard we know and love.
Yeah, that's actually a good multi though for a 15-year-old. Emotional attachment, phony little spastic.
Yeah.
God. I think that might have been the only line that I got out.
Yeah. I mean, it's quite... I could tell watching it that you rapped and knew how to sort of command and stuff like that. But clearly, you were much more on the rap side of the battle rap, and you didn't necessarily go at Suus.
Not really. Yeah, it was more trying to out rap people because that was what I was familiar with from growing up and watching these people. It was like watching like Iron Solomon. He always just tried to be a better rapper. Like I remember, I think one of my favorite battles I've ever seen was Iron Solomon against Math, and Iron Solomon's styles on him really bad. Like I think it was very, very comfortable. But the thing is, it's just the way he's saying things. It's not exactly direct, but it still gets the point across. Like if you say I'm Slim Shady, I guess there's nothing after Math. I think one of the lines was, and it's just like it doesn't hit you like a punch in the face, but it sinks in and you think, that's actually really good. And that was kind of what I was going for at the time, just trying to be the better artist. And I know that sounds stupid because it's a battle rap environment, and music doesn't really play a part when you're in the unless it's a grime clash or a hip hop clash, But I was just trying to be the better lyricist at the time, and to be honest, if I actually prepared, it would have been a much different outcome.
Yeah, definitely. And Suus in his second, playing on that Blizzard thing, as you mentioned, he's from Newcastle. The weather's shit, so he's not feeling Blizzard. He's pretty decent here, actually. He's quite polished. Oh, yeah. Suus.
I mean, if you take into account that was his first clash, like most people's tryouts, I don't know, I won't give an exact number, but I'd say like 5 out of one every 3 tryouts you see are terrible.
Yep.
Like there's some people, like let's say Luna for example, absolutely steamrolled his tryout. Tony, Double L steamrolled his tryout, and obviously Dialect as well. And some people just get it straight away, but other people need to let it marinate and have a bit of practice. And I think that was the case for me really, because when I started, I wasn't too sure, and it took me about probably 2 or 3 battles to really find my feet. I think that was it. I think H-Bomb battle was the turning point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, certainly. And Suus, I touched on the World of Warcraft stuff we say in a second here. In your second, which I liked, you start off by saying quite meta, I'll try and not choke this time.
That's pretty meta, actually. Yeah. And I didn't actually fulfill that promise, I believe.
Yeah, it wasn't. I mean, it was a band, instrumental rock band. An instrumental rock band has better lyrics than you. Is kind of what you say to Suus here.
That's god awful.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
You're about as hip hop as the Chesterfield village where Flex Digits lives.
That was a very forced multi that didn't even work syllabically. God.
Yeah, nothing. I mean, again, nothing too stand out here. But I mean, I've put in my notes. You are 15 to a certain extent here, and it's
I love like that's kind of. It's like saying, he tried. That's how it feels. I mean, he was terrible in every single round, and it wasn't even debatable. But I mean, he is 15.
Yeah.
I like that.
But I mean, you wouldn't. I was thinking this when I was watching it. You wouldn't see a 15-year-old try it for Don't Flop now. It just wouldn't happen.
Well, I'm just thinking. Is there anyone around that age?
I mean, no.
Wasn't Gemini quite young? I think Gemini was like 16.
Was he 16? Okay.
Maybe he's. To be honest, though, he looks really young anyway. He could be like 30, but I wouldn't know.
He just gives off Gemini gives us this sort of world-weary vibe, like he's been around forever sort of thing. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you and Suus seem quite boyish.
Yeah, kind of like delinquent.
Yeah. Very, very sort of nascent. And Suus in his third calls you Center's little brother for some reason, and it gets quite a laugh.
I think that was because I was wearing the Adidas hoodie, and I think Sensor had a battle where he was wearing an Adidas hoodie. To be honest, I have no idea because I haven't asked him, because I try not to revisit that terrible day. But I think, maybe it's because I was fat.
Maybe. I'm not quite sure. I guess Sensor was kind of a big figure at the time as well, so any reference will get a laugh. Lots of Blizzard stuff in Suus's third. I'm melting Blizzard. Barely a weather warning, as you said before. I quite like you named yourself after the whitest thing known to man.
I loved that. That was great. Yeah. I think Oh, that was amazing. That was a bit of a haymaker for me.
Yeah. No, that was good. Blizzard's gone up in flames, all this sort of stuff. With your third Blizzard, I was quite curious about this because,
I've just remembered.
Yeah, tryouts, kind of famously indirect battles mostly. You maybe get a track on SoundCloud or something. You go for pretty much a whole concept round here. The idea of sort of Eminem, Stan, the letter, but in this case, rather than Marshall and Stan, it's Definition and Suus.
Yeah, because I think around the time on Facebook, it was the joke of Definition being Suus's dad,
right?
Or Suus being Definition's biggest fan. I mean, this is going back 8 years, so I can't exactly remember, but I know it was kind of going along the lines of Suus's trying to emulate Definition. Right. So I ran with that and did that god awful Stan verse.
Yeah, and you kind of bring out a piece of paper and sort of the pen doesn't work and you try and write. I mean, it's admirable. It's admirable. At least you didn't just, wasn't another round of bars. And
it's like the play that gone wrong.
It was a little bit of a haphazardly. Remember, you throw a nappy at him and he asks if it's yours.
Yeah, that was like 30 Rock level comedic timing.
Yeah, it was. Like, I love 30 Rock as well, but
it's amazing.
Oh, it's amazing, yeah. And then battle kind of wraps up here, and it is great. At this time, all the judges are like top tier names because Don't Flop isn't really big at the moment. So you have Tenchu, Lego, Oshea, Collie is there as well. ZT, Lego thinks that Suus is going to be a problem. People seem to be sort of kind to you, but it's kind of I think Suus was the star.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if I was judging the battle, I definitely would have given it to Suus. Like, I wouldn't have even gone into detail about, I think this guy took the first round. I think he's bars. I'd just be like, yeah, Suus won that, no doubt. I've got to be honest with myself. I can admit when I lose battles, and I can sometimes say that I think I've won battles that I've lost, but we'll get into that.
So this is I guess after the event, any memories of this event? Because I mean, like, this is kind of as a huge fan of the UK scene and stuff. I've put a demarcation really, Blizzard, of in the Bible we have BC AD, and in Don't Flop we have before the Don't Flop logo was on the thumbnail and after. You know what I mean? Like, kind of, which kind of chimes perfectly with you and Mark and Luna and when it got big and 4th birthday and stuff. So this is beforehand. This is when we had Don't Flop North down below, and there wasn't a thumbnail. It's just anyone that uploads a video on YouTube knows that they give you just free thumbnail grabs to choose from, and you just pick whatever you want, sort of thing. So talk to me. I mean, any memories of this day other than battling Suus?
The bus ride home, nearly bursting into tears, thinking this is going online. I can't.
Oh shit.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. That was one of the things going through my head. But I'm thinking of any other battles that happened on that day. It was that long ago. I can't really remember much. I think most of the event I was outside, like smoking cigarettes, going through my material that I thought I had in the alleyway, and I didn't really focus on much. And that's a problem I've always had with events. I have this limbo period, like from when I get to the event to when I battle, and it got worse going further and further into my career because I noticed that I was always on later. So, for example, the worst time it's ever been was the Lego battle, because I think that I battled on the second day, right at the end. It might have been right at the end of the first day, but I can't enjoy myself until my battle's over. It's just, it's something about me. I can't even listen to other people's material because it freaks me out. Like, I have really bad stage fright. But more for Don't Flop than anything else. Like, I've performed at big shows, but these have been way more nerve-wracking because it's dead silent. And when people are listening to your material, their eyes are locked on you. If you're rapping in a club with a beat on, people don't really notice if you mess up because you can just catch it back. But when you choke, even a 2-second choke or stumbling over your material, you're under a microscope, man. It's really, really dark. So that's something I've always struggled with, really, just being able to kind of enjoy events. Like, To the Test 10 was the best event I've ever been to by a country mile. And nothing will ever top it. But I didn't really enjoy it that much because the whole event I was thinking to myself, I've really got to prove myself here. And it was just really, that's something I've always struggled with, really.
And the Suus battle is released in April 2010, which is, you know, I mean, ridiculously long time ago. And your Decoy battle, which is your second battle, I believe at the same venue, it was uploaded February 2011. So it's a long time, almost a year between these two.
Oh, yeah.
You know, was there a lot of kind of, were you training? Was there a lot of prove yourself? What was your mentality going to the second battle after the kind of not that promising, to be fair, Suus clash?
Interesting that you said training, because I think in retrospect, I didn't think it was training what I was doing, but I was definitely practicing a lot. But I was writing more music and trying to be honest, the Decoy battle, I didn't know it was going to happen. Like, I didn't think I was going to battle again, to be honest, Tom, because I hated that battle so much. And I was getting a lot of stick for that in college, mate. I'll tell you that. Like, people would put it on in the classroom, and I'd walk out because it's like I didn't want to see it, and I said to people, I can't see it. I will not let myself see it. And even to this day, 7 years on, I don't even think I've watched a round of it. And apart from one round of Suus's, but I've never watched any of my bit of that. But with the Decoy battle, I knew that when it came about, I had to make sure it was at least a bit better than what happened with Suus. So, and Decoy was really grilling me on Facebook around the time and being like, I can't wait to whack up this little kid, you know, saying all this stuff like, oh, this little child, he's not worth it, I'm going to beat him. And I was saying, honestly, you're not going to beat me. So I was like, right, my ego was going into overdrive. He's got beef in Australia. He's done all these battles, but I'm gonna tear him down. I mean, I guess that's subjective when you watch the battle, because I think I did win. I won on the day, but watching it back, I don't think any of us was that good. I just think it was not terrible. You know?
Yeah.
There wasn't much of a threshold there.
Yeah, I haven't seen the battle, you know, of these. I'm definitely going to rewatch it in the future to go back. One of the things you can do to judge on a battle is its kind of like-dislike ratio. And going on this one, it has 348 dislikes. So it's got quite a lot of backlash on here. The comments seem to suggest that sort of DK, you know, has an obsession with Decoy, rather than DK, has an obsession with rape and is just kind of lame and not very good. But I mean,
yeah, his material wasn't really that good. I mean, I'm not saying that in like an arrogant way, because my material wasn't that good either. But his stuff, he had this third round where he was singing and clicking, and it was really like really weird. He was like, "Let me tell you about a boy named Blizzard," and it just, the crowd just didn't get it. Yeah. It just wasn't. It was a very awkward situation, to be honest, to be in. And most of his material was very rape centered, like something straight out of a Louis C.K. sketch,
right?
But not to the point where it was funny. Okay, just very awkward and not pleasant to hear, kind of thing. So that was kind of how the Decoy battle went. I did win on the day, barely, but you're not really missing much. You said you've not seen the battle, and to be honest, you aren't really missing that much.
Right. Well, I mean, 196,000 people have seen it. You know, it has got quite
that many.
Yeah, it's got a lot of views, hasn't it? It's got a lot of views. I mean, inevitably, with kind of the Grist spillover, I suppose, to a certain extent, has kind of aided
possibly.
That. But possibly, yeah. But I mean, still, you know, a kind of highly viewed battle there. But we get onto the battle where you say you found your feet, and I can definitely agree with this in the H-bomb battle. This whole event, I love the vibe of this event. You know, the visuals, the ad. Yeah. Oh, it's vintage. Don't flop.
It was perfect because everybody was interested, and Luna C had killed his tryout, and Eddie P and Frisco are big on the Manchester drum and bass scene. They're everywhere, and I was not really that big. Like, I don't think many people came out for me, put it that way. I don't really think that, because I did 2 really terrible battles. But if you did come and see me on the day, I did improve a little bit. So that event, man, it was so good. I think I was maybe 17 or 16, and H-bomb was funny, man. Like, as far as battles I watch myself, like my own material, that's one of the few I go back to.
September 2011, so we just had the riots, and you sort of, you say like fuck GMP and everyone that was rioting.
Yeah. It did overspill into Manchester. Yeah. People weren't happy with the GMP that day. I mean, for that week, because I think it started with I can't remember if it was Mark Duggan, but it started in Tottenham, was in Croydon, but then it did overspill into Manchester, and I think it was the day before the event that everyone was like looting and robbing, and I didn't take part. I hated the idea of it going on in my city. Like not my. I don't own the city. I mean, where I'm from. Like I was really upset with humanity that day, but I knew that it was for a good cause in a sense. But I'm not really into this anarchy in the UK, Sid Vicious-esque life idea of, well, someone's died, let's rob Miss Selfridge's. Like, I don't really think that works. Go to Parliament, man. Don't, rob small businesses, dude. Like, that's not cool. Yeah. But I was, really bitter that day. And, I did say that. Fuck everyone rioting, because it did hold a place very close to my heart.
It's just an interesting little, sort of timepiece there from that time. Also, says that you've done the beats in, the introduction of the video, is that right?
I did a few of them, actually. I can't remember exactly which ones. That event I did do the beat for. I think I did one for the event where Lee Scott battled with, I think it was Jay Madden, and there was a couple of others as well, like one of the London events. I was pretty terrible at making beats then, to be honest, but they were just little hip-hop-esque jingles, so to speak. But so I did produce that track, which was quite good for me. Did you people knew I was a producer?
No, maybe off the talk about my arse here, but didn't you produce a Shotty track that was on 4th birthday? Wasn't that one of yours?
What, Formal Introduction?
Yeah, I love that song, man.
Yeah. I produced 3 tracks off that EP. I produced 420, 24/7, and Going Till It Breaks, and Formal Introduction.
Yeah, I think most people, I'm sure if we speak about it, people will be like, what was that? But anyone that hears the song will recognise it clearly. Great stuff from you, man.
Yeah, Formal Introductions. Thanks, man.
Yeah, no, seriously, really good. And I mean, talk to me about the sort of H1 battle here. How did it? Because really, we have kind of the emergence of the Blizzard we recognise here, sort of thing. The sort of antagonistic, skillful, sort of cocky, sort of it's a huge leap from Suus, which was just over a year before.
I'd like to think so. The H1 battle was definitely a turning point for me, and it was the first battle where I got everything out that I needed to. I prepared, and I feel like H1 was all. Every time when you say, "How did this battle happen?" I feel like every single one it's been Facebook, right. But a lot of the time it does happen like that. It's putting us both into a group chat and saying, "Right, Helen, do you want to battle Blizzard at Manchester?" And then we both say yes, and then it's like, okay, cool, you got a month, and then that's it. Yeah. And but there was a lot of kind of not beef, but kind of messing around and bantering with each other on Facebook, and she was saying she was going to fuck me to death and stuff like that. And it was. But the thing was though, with H-Bomb, she's actually a really nice girl, to be honest, and she's a friend of a lot of the people in the scene, but I knew that I wanted her head off that event because it was such a big event. It was probably the biggest battle it was the biggest battle I'd done at that point, because it was a sellout. And at that point, for an event in Manchester to sell out, big deal. Yeah. Really big deal. I think that was just as Don't Flop started to sell out everything. Like every event was a sellout, regardless of where it was. I feel like Don't Flop Scotland came a little bit after that, and Seoul was around. That might have even been before, but regardless of that, that was around the golden age for Don't Flop. 2012 to 2014 to me is the perfect Don't Flop era. Yeah,
I agree. I think it's kind of it begins with around To the Test 10 and goes probably just after 5th birthday. It's kind of
only just I think the first checkpoint was where it started to decline.
Yeah. That was probably the last gasp of true dominance, when they were really trend setting and stuff like that. And obviously, talk to me about the, so you're put in this group chat. You have a month to prepare. What's the preparing process? What's the writing process? The rehearsal process? What do you do?
At that point, I wrote everything like it was on a beat. And I felt like that helped me a lot. I feel like Nestle does the exact same thing, actually. He writes to a beat and then does it a cappella on the day. So what I did was I was writing it like it was a diss track for somebody. And, did a lot of, digging dirt, looking through pictures and tweets and whatever. And I had my material boxed in like 3 or 4 days, and that's really rare for me. But what I decided to do was not over prepare it, because I have done that in the past with like live performances where I've drilled it for like 4 or 5 hours straight a day. This is when I had no job, keep in mind. But you know, you get to a point when you're so complacent with your material, you think that you are not going to mess up, and then you mess up. It's always the thing. And with me, I decided I wrote my material in 2 or 3 days. I learnt them, and then like 3 or 4 days before the event, I then started to practice again. And my way of learning material is to write the stuff, learn it, and then a few days or weeks later, I try and write it out again on paper, because I feel that like the way I learn things is by art of rehearsal, but not necessarily saying it, but writing it and writing it and writing it. So that's what I did for the H-bomb battle, and I think it worked really well because I didn't choke. I was way more confident. Like if you look at the Suus battle and compare it to the H-bomb battle, it's like I had this whole new kind of energy that I'd never discovered before. And the reason why is because I just thought, I'm just going to go all out this time, and I'm going to show what I'm capable of, because I've done live gigs before, you know, I can do this. So I went in there and I just thought, whatever happens, H-bomb's going to have her head cut off this day. And see it to kind of see what happened. But
I mean,
I think I did.
Oh my god, yeah, I actually learned a new word the other day, acephalic, which means without a head, and I can definitely describe H-bomb in that way. It is, you know, ridiculous body on your part, really. You know.
That's a great word, acephalic.
Acephalic, yeah. I think it was like a headless chicken, I think, is what it was applying to, but yeah, you can apply it to anything. And this battle, you know, 673,000 views at the time of us recording this, crazy numbers. What was Don't Flop like at this time? Just before You versus Grist is released, this sort of era, was it big? Was it a hype around it online, or?
Oh yeah, there was definitely a hype around it. But the beauty of it was that there wasn't any viral videos out at that time. The first viral video was the 2-on-2 with Luna and Matter, but that got taken off YouTube. People say that's because of Chronicle. We don't know, but that was before videos started to go viral, and battle rap was still quite new. But the beautiful thing about it, Tom, was nobody was complacent. People had to earn their spot, and I felt the same. I felt like I have to show people what I'm capable of. 10, 15 battles down the line, you see people just kind of going into it very half-heartedly without any thought, just thinking, I know I'm getting paid at the end of the day. Well, some people may think that, but I don't really care if I win or lose. I'm just battling, and I hated that. And one of the reasons I stopped was because of everyone being so complacent in it. You know, this is a good platform, or was a good platform. You should really be fighting for your spot and be fighting for your respect. So that point was perfect in the Don't Flop era, so to speak. Yeah. People were still fighting. People were really wanting to prevail and be the top tier. And this that hierarchy of Don't Flop, where it's like top tier, middle tier, tryouts, newcomers. Before all that, it was you are good or you are bad. If you're bad, you don't come back. If you're good, you do. That was all it was. There was none of that kind of ego tripping that you get now, and all this like fighting on stage and all this stupid stuff going on. Like, it was way before that, and it was healthy, you know. And I haven't seen that for a while, really. I haven't seen just healthy competition for a good while.
Yeah. I know what you mean. Pride in your work. I think kind of the name of the league was crucial, wasn't it? The idea was don't fuck up, don't be bad, because you're not going to get back. And now we do have, demo battles, channels dedicated to this stuff where it's like, oh, we can still make money off it, so we'll bring it out.
That doesn't fit well. That doesn't sit well with me, personally. The demo channel and Don't Flop Extra. Yeah. Like it's an extra limb of Don't Flop. I didn't agree with that, because being put on the demo channel is disrespectful in a sense, and especially when you battle and you think that you're going to go on Don't Flop, the main channel, with nearly 150, 200,000 subscribers or whatever. Yeah. You think that you're going to go on that, and then you are demoted to the demo channel. that hurts, man. Like, I've only had it happen once, but I didn't expect it to go on the main channel. That was when I did the 2-on-2 with Moss Prob and Einstein with Pedro. I didn't really care if that was going to go on the main channel or not. I just filled in when somebody didn't show, and I had a really good time. I didn't really care about that. But being on I don't like this idea that there is Don't Flop, and then there is Don't Flop Extra, and then there's a demo channel. I don't think demo channel really is a thing anymore. It's more Don't Flop Extra or training days or whatever. But it just feels like it's kind of going back into that class, that hierarchy of, if you're not top tier, you go onto the demo channel and you don't get the exposure that you deserve. It doesn't sit well with me, man.
No. Yeah, I feel that, and I think your 2-on-2, which we will get to, it's kind of like it's demo battle fodder in a sense, where it's an outdoor drunken freestyle 2-on-2. You know what I mean? It's not like a kind of main stage battle that was crap that got demoted or something like this, but. H1 battle happens, I'm guessing, sort of the summer-ish. I mean, you mentioned the riots, so probably like late August 2011. The Grist,
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, sort of around that time. The Grist battle happening towards the end of 2011. Was more kind of, open to you because you'd showed yourself as H1? Is that why Grist was offered, or...?
The Grist thing was a bit of a fluke, to be honest. And I've been asked this question a few times in regards to how it happened. I didn't really go into it thinking it was going to be that big of a battle, but I saw the card before it was published, and there was like loads of people were there, man, like Nestle, Johnny Storm, Sharon. I was like, I gotta get in on this. But the only battle that Mark Grist had out at that point was Moss Prob, and if you remember that battle with Moss Prob, he didn't do very well at all, and I went into it thinking, this is going to be easy, I'm going to rip this guy apart.
I came for my rapping endeavours, so don't you dare think of correcting my grammatical errors. And we know now you're a teacher, so that needs no further explanation. But I'm smarter than you think. Let me recap on my education. In nursery, I was a terror. I made everyone's experience hell. The only noise that I enjoyed hearing, the bell. Temper tantrums every day. I used to walk out of the room. 13 years later, I'm here making mountains of moves. I'm 17. Education has took up 75% of my life, and I hated every second of it. What, you expect me to lie? I dropped out of college because I hated that negative vibe.
Had this idea of teacher versus student battle, and I really liked it. I didn't think it was going to go anywhere near as big as it was going to go, but that's the internet for you, man. So it just happened. It was a kind of miraculous idea that became amazing. So I didn't, and the funny thing was, in regards to our material, I went into it thinking I'm going to be really smart, and I thought he was going to try and do the same thing, but subconsciously he decided he's going to go for the childish jokes, and it worked really well, I think, on camera, because you expect Mark Grist to be all like, shall I compare thee to a summer's day, iambic pentameter, and all this stuff, and he's like, I'm ripping this guy apart, you aren't even old enough to drink in this building, your mum looks like a sea lion applauding, just straight in with the haymakers. And the contrast of the two styles and the two pieces of subject matter, I think, worked really well. So I have no idea why Reddit took it. I have no why it was so big. I just know it was a funny watch, and I was proud of it, man. Even though I did get beat, but I don't think it's the kind of beating where it's like you still don't want to show people.
No,
I was really proud of that battle because I feel like it was just really fun, and you can tell with me that I actually was really digging Mark Grist's material because I was laughing more than most people in the crowd. I don't like all that game face stuff. Every battle I've been in, if somebody says something that I think is funny, I'm laughing. I'm not going to like do that thing where you know your hands are crossed and you're puffing your chest out. I just think that's really corny. So with the Mark Grist material, when he was hitting them haymakers at me, I was just laughing my arse off, really.
Yeah,
and good though. It was a good event.
Oh man. Yeah, the event was. I remember. I as I said to you at the start of the episode, this was the first battle I ever watched, and I remember watching it and not only loving both of you. Was it? Yeah, first battle I ever saw. No way. Yeah. Actually got a little bit of criticism online recently. People saying that too often in Battle Rap Resume, I'll talk about a battle and where I was when I watched it. Well, fuck you guys. I was in. I was in the front room of our student flat, and my friend Sean. I was reading. I was still am really into spoken word, really into hip hop, all that sort of stuff. And he was like, do you know what battle rap is? And I was like, no, what the hell is this sort of thing? And he's like, some guy battled his teacher, so he put this thing on, and I was transfixed. Like, there was like 6 or 7 of us in the room. They were half watching it. I was like glued. I was like, what is this? I was like, really blew my mind sort of thing. And it was not only the quality of the writing, it was just visually. It was just like, what is this?
It was aesthetically really good, wasn't it?
It really was. What is this movement? What is this giant screen with all the tweets on it? Like, you know what I mean? I didn't know what the hell was going to. This is back when Don't Flop had a tiny chat. This is back when.
Oh, classic!
Yeah.
What's that? Tiny chat, man.
Tiny chat. This is back when Don't Flop advertised shirts in the intro. This is This is back when Don't Flop cared, I suppose, in a certain sense. You could see that, but this is.
Yeah, that's a fair argument, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and this is 5.2 mil.
That's definitely fair, especially the thing about 5.2 mil.
Well, I was just
saying as well, in regards to the tweet wall. I don't think that ever came about again.
No,
I feel like that was the only event where it happened, and I feel like that was missed opportunity.
Yeah, I think that is a good idea. I think I've been to a few kind of events, like hip hop events, spoken word events, where they do that. And the problem is people don't tweet enough, so you get the same 10 tweets recycling on the wall, and it's just. It's or you get someone tweeting something funny or something ludicrous just to appear incongruously, and all that sort of thing. But regardless, there's so many people there. Everyone's really animated. Looks so happy. He bigs up your F64 that you did.
Oh yeah. I think that came out like a week before the battle, which was really good for my views.
Yeah.
I feel like this was a very good point for me. Like, I was finding my own, not only in battling, but in my music as well. And I felt like for the first time since I started to be a bit more respected. And I wasn't just that kid anymore. I actually had a name, had an identity in the league and in the music. Because an F64, for people that don't know, is quite a prestigious thing for someone that's into grime music. And it's like a fire in the booth. Like, you are honoured when you're picked for it, So it's like getting an Ivan Novello for like a grime MC almost.
Yeah.
I know that's a stupid reference, but that's kind of what it's like. So I was in my element that day, and I was like, yeah, F64, and I'm like, people were talking to me about it, and I felt like, wow, like people are actually liking what I do. So I've got to make sure this battle's a banger. But I didn't think it was going to pop as much as it did. Right. Really,
yeah. I know.
Was crazy.
I mean, yeah, we'll get to the sort of reception of it, but the battle itself is fantastic in itself. Grist's second battle, which is crazy, kind of.
That's nuts, isn't it?
Yeah, that is nuts. I mean, okay, it was like your 4th, 5th battle, but you'd been around a bit longer. He literally battled most prob, had a 5 million view battle. It's like it doesn't, it's kind of the sequencing is crazy, and
yeah, I can't think of anybody with such a big curve. From one battle to another, honestly. Apart from maybe when Tony D battled Mickey Worthless and then came back and just killed, I think it was Suus, bless him. But there's not been many people that have improved that much between a battle, honestly. Mark Grist absolutely blew my mind that event. I expected it to be a repeat of the prod battle, and it really wasn't. He came with it. Yeah, he's very prepared.
Oh my god, yeah. I mean, I've had Grist on the show. Fantastic guy. We spoke about this battle at length. Definitely check out that episode. Definitely check out that episode as well. But
he's so lovely.
Yeah, he's the best. But he himself said, it was this case of sort of lightning in a bottle, where all the battles he did after it were compared to it, and it's like it was just kind of this one-off perfect performance.
Yeah, but the thing is, he did. There was that. It was a lightning in a bottle moment. That's a great way to put it, to be honest. But he did come back with some really, really good battles. Like, he battled at Latitude and he killed Mickey.
Yeah.
And Mickey's great. The thing about Arthur and the job, just brilliant.
Yeah.
The thing is, though, after that battle, Mark Grist paved the way for that white collar, really eloquent, kind of anti-rap. Almost in a sense, because I'd come from a place where we used to battle each other on Market Street in Manchester, where there was a big HMV and a Foot Locker, and people used to get really offended. And it's like now we have this kind of gateway into a completely new culture where spoken word perfectly aligns with battle rap. And that I feel like Mark Grist did father a lot of people that came out in the following years. And I'm not going to name names because I feel like some people might be offended if I say, oh, Mark Grist fathered your style. But I do feel like his style is quite common, and it's a result of that battle.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Blizzard, I'm not
personally.
No, I agree. It's a great point. I'm not afraid to name names, and I agree with you because I mean, in C Major versus Soul, which is one of the best Don't Flop battles ever, Soul famously said the Mark Grist.
Absolutely.
He says the Mark Grist Blizzard crop, and what he means is kind of that battle got viral views and it allowed a kind of new breed to come on. But another interpretation, which Soul clearly didn't mean, but you could argue that he's saying what you're saying: the Mark Grist crop, the spoken word crop, the Harry Baker Shuffle T, Marlowe, Simon Mole, dare I say soliloquy crop. The sort of the people who can come through and like. Consciously or not, he made it okay for something like that to happen.
Absolutely, Tom, completely agree. Yeah. I personally interpreted the only here because of Mark Grist and Blizzard crop in the way of the rappers that started to kind of get an overspill of views around that time, around that year where the battle was still popping. That's my personal interpretation of it, and that might be wrong. I would like to hear what Saul meant by that. I do think he might mean the people that came after, when Don't Flop started to grow a bit more, because, there was a lot of people that came out. And all I'm saying is, man, in regards to Mark Grist, I feel like with some people like Heretic, for example, I'd be very surprised if he didn't watch Grist before he started. I'd say the same with people like Stowaway. I feel Stowaway might have been before, but that style is very prominent now. Shuffle, Marlowe, there was Jay Smug as well. I mean,
Jay Smug, yeah.
I don't know where he's gone. He was great though. But there was a lot of people that came out around the 2011.
Yeah. So the Mark Grist battle, I mean, in a kind of like in a poetic perfection sort of thing, it was uploaded just on the cusp of 2012. It was uploaded 29th of December 2011. So it really kind of, got those views coming in there, and you had battles like you mentioned Dialect versus Double L. Don't get me wrong, fantastic battle, deserving of the views. I've no doubt it's because of the Mark Grist Blizzard effect. You have it's called the Oprah effect.
I don't know. Yeah, I know. Oprah effect.
Yeah.
Can you expand on that? I'm interested in what you mean by that.
Well, the Oprah effect it stems from her book club on her show, where she would literally pick an author, obscure or known, and it will be top of Amazon. It'd sell millions of views just because Oprah said it, and kind of her glow, if as it were.
Yeah, that's kind of like anytime Ed Sheeran tweets an artist, they go to number one in iTunes.
Yeah.
That's an interesting point. Yeah, absolutely. I actually agree with you on that.
Yeah. So we get to the battle itself. In your first round, you talk about your last battle being a classic, that being H-Bomb. Don't want to seem sexist. You've given me another bitch.
Ouch. That's so. What's funny though, with Mark Grist being so anti-misogynist.
Right.
In real life, that's quite harsh for me to say it to him.
Yeah. And one of the things I wanted to ask you as well, because obviously when my friend Sean showed me this battle, he said, "Oh, it's a student battling his teacher," and I was like, "What the hell is this sort of thing?" And watching it, I thought you were student and teacher because both of you mentioned.
The rapport was there.
Yeah. You talk about your attendance being poor. You call him Mr. Grist, all this sort of stuff.
It was all planned, my friend.
Right.
It was all planned.
It worked. 5.2 million views later. It was definitely worth it. I know, right? I love the sort of you stabbing him in the back with glass and it being like the wrong side of the glass ceiling is quite nice.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
It's quite.
I don't think it made sense, but yeah, we'll run with that.
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, I know what you mean. It doesn't really make sense, but it's still quite good. Knobhead, if I punch you in the face, who are you going to call Ofsted? I mean, that's classic.
You know what? That's probably the line that people quote to me the most out of anything I've ever done, easily.
Yeah.
I don't know why it got so much love, but I think it might have been because it was just a good closer for that round. Because I went first. So I was the introduction to that battle, in a sense. So that was the last line people heard before Mark Grist hit me with the extreme babysitting, and people just knew straight away this is going to be good.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I think it stems from everyone's been to school, everyone knows what Ofsted is, and you don't really hear it in a battle context. You don't really hear it in a context outside of school, so it's just kind of funny that it's made into a bar and Knobhead, Ofsted, and all that kind of stuff here. But Grist kills it in the first, the extreme babysitting stuff. I had a friend of mine. I had a friend of mine at uni actually who felt that something Mark Grist says in this battle kind of like puts a cap on all of like rap braggadocious property ideas, where people are like big up London, big up the ends, big up all this shit, and Grist just says big up everyone who has property in Manchester. That's not an achievement.
Yeah, that was so good.
Yeah.
And it did kind of take the mick out of. It was quite meta in a sense, but it kind of took the mick out of everyone that brags about, being in the Savoy and doing all this. It's like it takes apart everybody with a state of mind where it's like, I have more than you, or I live here and you don't, Like, I think it was so well put together, that whole thing.
Oh yeah. I mean, wank off in sandals, the pictures of Gandalf.
Banger. I love that line.
Your physique implies all the spinach in the world has died. Which
I know.
Which I got as well. And your second's awesome as well. You talk of receiving death threats. Was this true or?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It was when I used to use. I think it was called Form Spring. It was like an anonymous question thing.
Oh yeah.
And it's basically prior to the Ask Me Anything on Reddit. Yeah. And I thought, I'm going to be like, people must want to know how I felt about the H-bomb battle, because I was so famous at that point and not. So I put my finger on my Twitter and my Facebook, ask me any questions. And someone said, like, if I see you in, I think it was like Utoxeter. If I see you in Utoxeter, I'm going to stab you. And I replied and said, to be honest, I have no plans to go there anyway.
Yeah.
And you get a lot. Yeah, it's really odd. The people that seem to give me death threats are like always from like Ironbridge or like it's never from big cities. It's always like, that's hella stereotypical, to be honest. But I'm talking from personal experience here. I had someone from Chichester say they were going to knock me out if I ever go to Chichester. I was like, yeah, if I ever go Pontins, I will let you know.
Right.
But you get it. I don't know why it was. I think it was because I mentioned I bet you have to beg to be raped. I think that line didn't sit well with like with the Shonda Rhymez type of people.
Sure.
So yeah, I was quite harsh at one point anyway. But
yeah.
I've been much harsher, which I know we're going to get.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Certainly. And one of your lines, I remember. I mean, we're coming back to that pivotal moment when I first watched this battle at uni. But what a line in your second, a light went off in my head where I sort of realised what battle rap writing was and what wordplay was. And I remember I still am, but so impressed at the time with you only taught gas mark on various degrees.
I'm still proud of that line. Yeah, I didn't think it was going to go down very well though, because there's always those lines where people say, "Oh, it's a creeper," "Oh, you're sleeping on me." Like I didn't think it was going to go down that well, but the whole point of my material was to outsmart him. So when that got a really good reaction, I think that whole round was full of like all those double entendres and stuff, and like the whole point of it was just to out lyric him and outword him. I think I said, gotta die like a board game, and people were like, huh?
Yeah.
And it was like, there's a die in a board game.
Yeah.
So,
I remember that. And Mark's second round, the famous Mrs. Green round.
Gotta be one of the best concept rounds ever in Don't Flop.
Oh, yeah.
I have to say. Like, as far as, like, being able to put a concept through a whole round and it not get boring, he fathered that, honestly. Because every single line was a punch to the face, and it was hilarious. And I was like waving at my mum, like, "Hi, I'm here." He actually wrote an apology. I don't know if you know, he wrote an apology letter to my mum on Facebook, which is in typical Mark Grist fashion, I would say. He said, like, "I'm really sorry about the material that I said." And ever since, he's been offering my mum tickets to the Rogue Teacher show, and he's really nice. And of course, Mark Grist, man, absolute legend, one of the nicest people you ever meet.
Yeah,
absolutely. But yeah, he's harsh about my mum.
Absolute sweetheart. Last time I had him on, actually, he was telling me that, I don't know if it's happened yet, him and Bagnall are going to go over to the Philippines and do like a battle rap thing with the Flip Top League. So I have to, I think they're doing it like Virgin or something. I don't know. They're doing something like that. So I'll have to check up on that. And I remember saying to him when he was on the show, actually, he has a bar that could be a lunacy bar, be it for one single word that lunacy would never use, where it's like, more rubber burned in her vaginal cavity than the combined combined alacrity of a Formula One car battery. Luna ain't saying
Perfect,
alacrity, but I mean, still, that is dope.
I don't know if I'm right in this. I didn't think alacrity was actually a word. I googled it, and maybe I got the spelling wrong, but there was a couple of tweets and people saying alacrity isn't a word. Where did that come from? Maybe it is a word. I feel like you might have meant like elasticity or something like that. I don't know. Is alacrity a word?
Alacrity is a word. It means sort of brisk readiness. Yeah. But it's used for cars. It's kind of like an engineering term for like engines and stuff like that. Like, so it is
very esoteric reference.
Incredibly. But I mean, nonetheless, and esoteric references from you as well, Blizz. Your scriptures will make Samuel Pepys look like any old man in the street.
Oh yeah, Oscar. What did I say? I was going to say Oscar Pistorius. What was his name? Confucius.
Oscar Wilde.
Oscar Wilde and Confucius.
Yeah.
I'm so bad. You know what's so bad about that? I didn't know anything about their work. How terrible is that?
Well, I mean,
I feel like I know. Like I knew what Samuel. I knew Samuel Pepys. Come on, you got the fucking diary about the fire of London. I know who he is. But Confucius, I know he's some philosopher from around that era, and Confucius is another. Oscar Wilde is another. I was just saying things to sound smart. How terrible is that? You know, if someone was to break it down, like, you know how Genius do those things where rappers like Logic will come on and break down Black Spider-Man. Like, if somebody came up to me and said, right, you've got to break down everything you said in the Mark Grist battle, I'd probably have to decline because I would make myself look like such an idiot. Like, who's Confucius? I don't know. Why did you say it then? I don't know. Okay, well, let's move on to Oscar Wilde. How come you said him? No idea. Oh, right, okay. Who's Oscar Wilde? Who's Samuel Pepys? He wrote the Great Fire of London diary. Do you know anything else? No. Okay, carrying on. That would be the whole 3 minutes.
Well, it's funny you mentioned Genius and this battle, because in Heretic versus Crafty, Heretic has a roundabout.
Started.
What are your feelings on that?
Oh man, I love Craft. Honestly, Danny is such a legend.
Oh yeah, he's the best.
He dropped himself in it by doing that. I think it was to do with his degree.
Okay.
But and don't get me wrong, I'm honoured, honestly. But it's just the fact that I said something like, you know, Samuel Pepys looked like any old man in the street, and the annotation says Samuel Pepys wrote the Diary of the Great Fire, and it's just like this guy really went to town on the references.
Yeah.
But I mean, when that surfaced, I think Viewpoint caught onto it very quickly because I think it came up with Danny Pandolfi in the annotations bit, and someone was like, put two and two together, that's Crafty. It got outed. I think OTVVA picked it up as well. Oh man, Heretic, he perfectly executed that round, like, so well, and Craft had to have saw that coming. You know, had to.
I think Heretic says, like, you wrote a dissertation about the Mark Grist Blizzard crop and all that sort of shit. Like, yeah, it was very, very well played. I mean, as you know, Battle Rap Resume listeners know, always arguing about Heretic Crafty. I'm always going back in my head about who actually won that battle. I'm still think Crafty might have taken it, but you know, regardless,
I can't judge it either. I can't actually call that.
Yeah.
I was in the same mindset as you. I feel like it was too even. Way too even.
Very, very even. Very, very interesting battle as well. Definitely go back and see that. But, I mean, so the battle drops. I mean, I actually talked to me about afterwards. So the battle ends. Obviously, it was a fantastic battle. Even if it didn't get millions of views, people would still think this is a really entertaining battle. What was the reaction immediately after?
Do you mean in the event?
Yeah, in the venue, yeah.
Or just in general? Oh, in the venue, yeah. I mean, everyone was giving us praise for it. I didn't feel it went too well. Because I hadn't seen the footage back, so I thought I was terrible. And me and Mark Grist were in Brixton Jam, and we went for a beer afterwards. Funnily enough, he bought it because I had no ID, ironically. And we were talking about it, and he said, like, mate, don't beat yourself up. You actually did really well. And I was like, oh, yeah, but, you know, like, this just, I don't know how I feel about it. I felt like I messed up, and I was too aggressive. And I do say this, thinking back, I should have toned it down a bit, because getting in his face and doing all that stuff about Peter Bratek, it just looks corny, man. And most of the comments on the video were saying, like, Blizzard needs to tone it down a bit. It's like he's on steroids or something. And in retrospect, I guess I am my own worst critic, to be honest. I do this with everything that comes out of mine. I critique it to the high heavens. But with that battle, I wish that I could have gone back and done it with a little more kind of blasé, a bit more kind of subdued, and just letting my material speak for itself, because it's a clear indication when someone has to shout that they're overcompensating and that they aren't comfortable in their material. And being honest, the first round, when he started rapping, my kind of ego went straight into the bin, and I knew that I was going to lose. I just knew it. The first round kind of zipped it for me. I knew that I was going to get destroyed. So I thought to myself, I'm just going to scream, I'm just going to shout at this guy, but it just comes across so terrible, like so pathetic and petty, and a clear sign that I wasn't comfortable, you know?
Right.
Hey, I am my own worst critic.
Yeah, no, I agree you are your own worst critic, because that isn't fair, I don't think. I think you're fantastic in this battle. I think the performance is excellent.
I think lyrically I did really well, don't get me wrong. Like, I can safely say that, like, most of my best material that I've ever said whilst in Don't Flop was in that battle. Like, I had a show with Crafty about a year ago. He invited me to his poetry event to perform, and I was saying that, like, he was introducing his friend who's like an Aussie to what Don't Flop was, and he was saying, if you want to see like a monumental battle, watch me and Mark Grist. So I was like, okay. And then he mentioned the Euro in all-knowing get rid of Mark when Germany brought the Euro in, and he said, mate, that's one of the best things I've ever heard. And I'm like, that's terrible, man. And he was like, no, literally, that is one of the best things I've ever heard. And I'm like, you're fucking dreaming. And, you know, it's weird how kind of certain people perceive battles. Like, something that I think is a clear body bag could be the complete opposite to someone else. Like, if you show a teacher, Heretic versus Crafty, they might be more inclined to vote for Crafty. But if you show someone that listens to hip-hop music, they might be more inclined to vote for Heretic. It's just the way you perceive it. There's been so many battles like that in the past where I completely disagree with judges, but judges aren't really a thing anymore anyway. That's kind of become obsolete, the idea of judging.
Yeah.
9 out of 10 battles are promo now.
Yeah.
It's just see what happens.
Yeah.
I'm sure, I don't know how I feel about that. I'm kind of bittersweet about that.
It is weird, isn't it? Because in of itself, it's a competitive thing to do, so it's weird that you wouldn't have judges at the end of it.
Yeah, I feel, imagine like with the Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather fight, at the end, it's just like they walk off. And on the PPV, you vote on the comments. It's just like, it's a competition at the end of the day. I do feel like there has to be a clear winner, and then it's debated about in future, because there's been many, many battles. I feel like one of the perfect examples of when I've completely disagreed with judges is Zayn Azrai against Mark Grist.
Oh, yeah.
I hated, and that, literally, I spoke to Mark on that day, and I said to him, I am absolutely blown away by that. Absolutely. I hope, I can't really remember the event that much. I hope I didn't judge it, because that would be terrible of me. But I don't think I did. I judged quite a few, but I don't think I judged that, because I was friends with Grist at the time. It'd be like a conflict of interest. But my God, sometimes judges do not get it right. They don't get it right at all. They go off what they thought was more entertaining when somebody could have way better lyrics, way better stage presence. So in some cases, battles should be promo, but in other cases, there should be judges. But sometimes the judges can just get it terribly wrong. There you go. That was a rant and a half, wasn't it?
No, that was enlightening, definitely. Great to hear that. And before we get on to the event where, Zayn and Grist was yourself versus Lego, talk to me about, what's the timeline of this thing getting the views? Like, was it very quickly when it got uploaded that it was getting, more than the average?
God, yeah. Probably within a fortnight, it was on about 90,000,
wow.
Which in them times is quite big. And it was Reddit, and I didn't know what Reddit was at the time, and I know that you're a Reddit guy because we're in our rap battles together.
We are.
But it went to the top page of R All.
Wow.
Which obviously, if you're a Redditor, R All, you have to have a really good video, or it has to be very big to get to the top of the main page, like the front page. It went to the top number one on Reddit, and it stayed there for about a week. BuzzFeed then took it apart, put it on their platform. Then it was mentioned on The Chase, and I think Pete Cashmore wrote something about it in The Guardian. The battle wasn't shown on The Chase. Let me explain that. There was a question where the answer was poetry slam, and it was like, what is the thing where people perform at each other? Is it A, rap battles, B, poetry slam, C, open mic? And then the answer was poetry slam, and then the Chase woman mentioned the fact that she saw something, actually, a rap battle where a teacher battled his student, and that was it. But people went on the YouTube and was like, oh lol, I'm here because of the Chase, upvote me. So, it kind of it spiraled out of control, man. Yeah. And there was a point where, because I didn't want to be pigeonholed, one of my main objectives coming into Don't Flop was still use it as a platform for all of my musical endeavours, whether that be my production, whether that be my rapping, whether that be anything, you know. And when the Mark Grist battle happened, I found myself going from being Blizzard that makes music but battles on the side to being Blizzard the battler, but he makes some music. And that didn't sit well with me at all, because I felt like I'd built this foundation for myself to be able to, you know, get my music out and portray what I want to the right people and send my music to people and touch them. And, you know, that sounds really weird,
right.
You know, but after a while, I was still living in Manchester at this point. I didn't move to London until like 2 years after, but I was going down Market Street in town, which is kind of like the main bit, like in the Bull Ring, for example, if you compare it. And people coming up to me saying, "Oh yeah, he's that kid. He got beat by that teacher. Yeah, man, no. And I was getting that like maybe 2 or 3 times a week. And then I was getting that for maybe 2 years. And I had it the other day. I was picking up something from my office on the first floor, and reception. Someone at the reception noticed me and was like, "I know you from somewhere." And I was like, "Oh yeah, I work on the second floor." And he's like, "No, I know you from somewhere. You're the kid that got beat by his teacher." And I'm like, God, 5 years later, and I still can't get a break from.
Yeah, man, it's.
But I mean, any publicity is good publicity. Unless you're Katie Hopkins, any publicity is good publicity.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, Arsenal Shotty, you know, has like twice as many views, but there's no doubt that the cultural influence of you versus Mark Grist is probably the widespread of any battle in any league ever. Probably, you know.
Yeah, Shotty and Arsenal was. I think, I was so happy when that took over. Yeah. I really, you know, when it got more views, I was so happy. And not because at the end of the day, I don't really care about views that much. All it is a number on a screen.
Oh, yeah.
It's not going to increase my bank flow. People aren't going to buy my album if there's a 5 million viewed battle. Like, it's just the way it is. But with Shotty and Arsenal, I feel like that was a perfect example of what Don't Flop stands for. So for people, because I'm the kind of person, I don't know about yourself. For example, if I'm on Vox or Noisy or Vice, I do tend to find myself filtering the videos by most viewed. Because I get an idea. I always do it with everything. And at one point it was me and Mark Grist, and I didn't think it was a fair representation of the sport, personally, because it was not everyone was like Mark Grist. But with Shotty and Arsenal, you can see every side of the culture. You can see the American, you know, Arsenal, fucking legend, absolute veteran in this. And then you've got Shotty, who people definitely didn't think he was going to win that. I don't know about yourself, but when you see Arsenal on a card, and Arsenal has been in this game for many, many years, against Shotty, guy from Harper Hay in Manchester, who's not really battled that much, you expect it to be a landslide. Shotty murdered Arsenal, and I'm not hearing it. I'm sorry. Maybe me and you have different opinions. Actually, the second one, Shotty killed him. First one, Arsenal did actually win. Very, very close. But I digress. Again, this is the beauty about talking to you, Tom. We can just talk about whatever the hell we want.
Exactly. And yeah, I agree. I think the first battle, fantastic contest. I think crucially as well, it was Arsenal of that era. It wasn't Arsenal now, where he's a bit flabbier.
Perfectly put. Couldn't agree more. That's perfectly put.
I mean, you know, it was his first time overseas to Don't Flop. He battled Hitman, Calico. You know, he had all his classic battles sort of thing. He really hadn't battled.
He's a heavyweight, absolutely heavyweight. He's upper echelon, really.
You know, Arsenal to me will go down as like the Jay-Z of battle rap, in the sense where he's battled all over the world. He gets the most views. He's not necessarily the greatest lyricist, but like, you know, popularity wise, you know, he's an icon.
Can't argue with that. No, not at all. He was the poster boy of that era for American battlers, I think, at one point. Him and Hollow, really, were the two people that were really putting on, always putting on a good show. Hollow was less available, though, if that makes sense. Hollow was not battling as much. Maybe he was, because I don't really follow URL too tough. I just follow B Magic. It's my only kind of gateway. Yeah, he's the guy. He's there. To be honest, I don't really watch that many people unless people that I know don't really follow battle rap tell me to watch them. That's when I watch battles the most. For example, a guy in my work, my old job, he said to me, "You should get onto Charlie Clips against, I think it was Hollow the Don." And for hearing him say it, this guy that doesn't listen to hip hop at all, I was like, well, clearly he gets it. And this is someone that doesn't listen to battling that much. So I watched it, and that's kind of my new gateway. hearing people that don't really follow it tell me to watch something, that's when I really take note. And it's the same with music as well. If I hear, like, that's how I got into Radiohead, and I'm like a 12-year fan now. So people telling, like, a hip-hop guy telling me to listen to Radiohead was the only reason I would have listened to Radiohead. Because if a guy came up to me that was a Radiohead superfan and said, hey, yeah, put on the Bends, tell me what you think, I'd be like, I want to. But when I heard someone that, like, makes grime music and he listens to Dizzy Rascal saying, like, you know what, you should totally listen to Subterranean Homesick Alien off OK Computer and tell me what you think, I was like, Radiohead, who are you? But hey, you see something in it, so...
Definitely good way to go with it. And the next battle we're going to get onto, yourself versus Lego. Now, you know, Don't Flop's getting massive at this point. You spoke about
huge,
you spoke about to the Test 10 and stuff like that. Obviously, everyone's thinking, who are Mark and Blizzard gonna battle next? Like, you know, what was there a lot of deliberating? What was the process like negotiating this?
It's funny at this point because people were seeing me as top tier, and I'm like, I don't want to be top tier. I just want to battle someone good. And I wanted Lego. I'm not going to lie. I said I wanted Lego. And Lego was really into it. I feel like Lego saw me as a couple of views. I feel like he said that on your Battle Rap Resume as well. Right. He said that he wanted the views, which of course, come on.
Yeah, why not? Yeah.
Because that makes you loads of money, doesn't it? But with Mark Grist, at the time, I thought the Zayn Azrai battle was perfect for him. And it was only after watching it that I was like, maybe he should have got someone a bit better. Me and Lego... I have always liked Lego. I think the first two battles I watched in Don't Flop were Oshea and Chronicle, and then I went straight to Oshea and Lego, and then I was hooked. I really liked it, and I wanted to get involved. So really, those two, who I ended up battling both of them, weirdly enough. It's kind of full circle. But if it wasn't for them, I would never have done this, and I wouldn't be speaking to you now. I'd be probably smoking a spliff somewhere in Manchester. But...
and Lego.
With
No, so Lego, like, as a kind of, as an entity, I mean, says in the intro, he's one of the guys that helped to build this thing. A legend at the time. I mean, obviously now, but even then.
Yeah, he was there from the very, very beginning. And, he deserves respect on his name.
Yeah. And Blizzard
Absolutely.
even...
Same with Oshea, man. Oshea is one of the...
Yeah, and you even big him up.
Sorry, I interrupted there.
No, it's all good, man. You even big him up before the battle starts, which is really good of you, kind of getting into this sort of thing. You go into it first, your mom looks like Ronnie Corbett crossed with Norbert.
Fire.
Yeah, I mean... It's called Lego because he bricked it as a kid.
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah.
It's kind of, don't know about
that. Not bad. You talk about...
Talk about my... So that's like, it kind of represents, it like, kind of shows you how old I was at the time. I thought that was a good line when I wrote it.
This is so sort of 2012. I love it. And one of the things that you mentioned that puts it in that era, you said that the Dubwise Cypher's the highlight of his month.
Oh, man, I missed Dubwise Cyphers. I'm so sad it stopped, honestly. Were you aware of the Boy Cyphers?
Yeah, I watched a few of them. We discussed it with Lego as well. There's some crazy talent on show.
Oh man, yeah, and he, you know what? All of them extremely talented. And one of my favourite artists that I've ever discovered through this is Jack Flash. I mean, come on. Jack Flash is a wizard. He's an absolute genius. And it's just, the vibe was amazing. Like, just people chilling, smoking joints in the studio, just freestyling at each other. One of the videos was like Joe Snow had a spot on his face, and they put a kind of a transitional slide that said, right, concept is now Joe's spot. So Lego is there and he's saying, like, what a guy, listen to Joe's music on Spotify. And like, just, it was so funny, like, and the thing is, it was like an hour long. Every time it was an hour long, and it was fun, and you watch it, the whole thing, because it's like, it doesn't get boring. Just seeing like Lunacy, Joe Snow, Jack Flash, Matter. I feel like Zen was there once, right. And P Soldier, and all those Leeds guys, man, and extremely talented bunch of people. And I'm just so sad that the guy from Corrie ruined it.
Yeah. It is a great shame. Are they still?
To be honest, he didn't ruin it. Ruin it. The media ruined it for Mountain.
Are they still online?
Yeah. Sorry, you were going to say something.
I'm just wondering if they're still available on YouTube. I haven't checked for quite a while.
think the channel got shut down, mate, if I'm honest. I think I haven't
Jesus.
seen Dubwise Cyphers.
No.
I think it got closed down in like 2015 because Murdoch's lot wrote a thing about him. And they found out, because obviously the guy from Corrie, I don't really watch Corrie,
No.
it's bad for a Mancunian, but he was a big character in it. So to protect his identity, he wore a mask. Someone clocked it was him, and then the media got onto it, and I think he got kicked off Corrie because he was talking about like raping people and drugs and, you know, snorting lines on his nights off and like, you know, the kind of thing that won't fly on TV.
Yeah.
And I think as a result of that, all the footage got took down and the channel was deleted as well. I might, quote me if I'm wrong, but yeah, I think
No, I'll look into that. Yeah, it's crazy. And Lego, you know, kind of going for the young angle here. You know, every battle fan as well as the cameraman can tell you don't have a chance in hell with those
those spacker hands. Amazing.
Grow the fuck up.
Oh yeah, and I was just gonna say, grow the fuck up. Stop thinking
Your finger's a gun. It's
so
the way he
good.
says it as well.
Do you know where that come from? Do you know what happened?
Please, no, I don't.
Yeah, the Blizzard gun finger. Basically, when I was like at the Suus event, I was in the front and I kept doing like the trigger finger in the crowd, and I was doing it after everyone's thing. So I think if you watch like Tenshu versus Salah at the same event as me and Suus, I'm behind Tenshu or Salah. Like, I'm behind Salah doing gun fingers and shouting Manny in the building. Pathetic. So stupid. And that was where it came from. I feel like Decoy picks up on it as well. But as far as getting that angle right, Lego was the guy for it. In the mirror doing the Will Smith impression. God damn. That's fire, bro.
Yeah. Crazy stuff from both of you here. And, like, you know, there was a lot of people here, Blizzard, kind of forward-facing here in Leeds. Was that stressful to you, or...?
I'll tell you something, man. I nearly threw up before that battle. Honestly, I was so nervous. And I don't think... Let me think about it. I'd never been on an elevated stage. That was the first battle that was stage. Because every time before that, it was the pit. So everyone was, like, circled around you. And I kind of preferred that, to be honest. But, yeah, man, that was a packed venue at the Wardrobe in Leeds. Absolutely rammed to the rafters. And... God, I was very, very nervous because I knew Lego was going to come with it. You know, I wasn't expecting anything less than classic Lego. Really funny and just breaking you down in a really funny way. You know, I knew it. I knew it was coming. But I thought I was probably the most confident in my material anything I've ever done. Ever.
And, I mean, was there a sense of pressure as well, not just from the crowd, but because this battle was... How many views did the Mark Grist... Did you battle with Mark Grist have when you were battling Lego? Was it, like, over 100k?
That's a question. I'm being frank with you, I think it was more kind of towards 750,000. It was definitely the most viewed at the time. And if I'm right, the Lunacy battle had just been overtaken by me and Grist. So there was a lot of eyes on me, man. And come on, following up the Grist battle, like, I didn't know how I was going to do it, because even though I thought I got destroyed, like, I definitely lost it, I still knew that people were going to watch it because of that battle. Like, not in an arrogant way of, like, I know people are going to watch this. It's kind of like, it was of the time where tryouts would get 150k. Like, double L's battle, I feel like is on about 400, maybe. I might be wrong, but, you know, it was, and again, going back to the point earlier, nobody was complacent, and that was the beauty of it. I knew that I had, I had no prayer with Lego. I had a feeling that it was either going to be very close or I was going to get bodied. In a weird way, I went in it to lose. Right. Because I just want... I think I said this afterwards to Lego, because he said, mate, you was amazing. I just said, to be honest, I just wanted to battle you, and whatever happened, happened. I didn't think it was going to be that good. I just thought, mate, if I lose, I lost to Lego, man. Come on.
Yeah, and I mean, in your second, you speak about, comedians like Lego mutilating the art. It's not about fitting 31-liner jokes in your rounds. Like, was this something like you felt testament to?
Oh yeah, I was very, very serious in what I was saying. I felt like the scene was getting a bit oversaturated by really cheap one-liners. Like, this isn't a Mitch Hedberg stand-up show. This is rapping, and some people are unable to put two and two together and combine the rapping with the jokes. I feel like Luna C is a perfect example of someone that can do both. Shotty as well, you know. People think he's more of a bars guy. He does actually have some funny lines in what he says.
Oh, yeah.
He said it against Arsenal. You look like why to the Maybach. Like, small things like that, bars and jokes in one line. But I feel like a lot of the people that were around at that time, not naming names, they just weren't sitting with me that well. I just felt like it was a bit corny, a bit on the cornball side, you know. And I'm from the time where it was like Tenshu was still about. Lee Scott, Monster Under the Bed, absolute barsmen. Like, they are very, very good at spitting. Even like Salah, man. If you like, Salah didn't get the respect he was due for the Tenshu battle on the same event that I battled Suus. Salah's one of the best rappers in this country, bro. Don't ever get that mixed up. He's very, very good. Go, anyone that's listening to this, listen to Non-Terracuous by Salah and forget the Tenshu battle and tell me he's not one of the sickest lyricists in this game. He's like Rhyme Asylum level lyricism. I'm digressing again, but you know.
No. Interesting. Salah. Okay, yeah. And Lego in his second here. Your mother is a loony fruitcake. Coochie's huge, mate. Fit more items than Kruger's suitcase.
Suitcase, love that. Do you know that reference?
Of course, yeah, of course. In my suitcase, yeah, and a copy of Daily Mail on Tuesday, and an iPhone duvet, and
you know what? I feel like I'm really. That was harsh of me to ask you. Do you know what that was? Of course, you freaking. Your battle rap resume, Tom. Come on.
Oh yeah.
How rude of me. I apologise.
No, it's all good. It's all good, man. And if anyone doesn't know, I mean, I need to urge everyone to go on Kruger 7. Kruger's YouTube channel is a treasure trove of quality.
It's gold, isn't it?
Oh my god. I mean, you know, I think.
Oh man, I feel like the Rayman rap got took down.
Oh, did it? Oh, I love that.
Yeah, rap?
I love that so much. Yeah, that was so good.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It was so good. And he did the one where. Oh no, actually, I might be wrong. And he also did the episode of Looney Tunes with the talking frog.
Yeah.
And oh man, he's a wizard. He's an absolute wizard.
He is. His creativity is absolutely boundless. And as was yours in this third round, where you're kind of playing off your chest with the percussion. That's very original.
It's definitely not. It's from Bobby McFerrin. I just kind of took the whole thing from. If you listen to Drive by Bobby McFerrin, he did a performance in Quebec, and the whole thing is. Kind of a percussion on his chest. I loved that idea, but I didn't see anyone doing it with rapping, so I thought I'd try that out. But the weird thing was, I decided to do the chest tapping maybe an hour or two before I got to the venue. Right. I had no idea I was going to do it, but the night before I went to Leeds, I decided to just listen to loads of Bobby McFerrin and listen to loads of different kinds of music, and I think I discovered Dark Side of the Moon that night, which was a great night. And Bobby McFerrin, man. Absolute wizard. I don't know how he does it, but I could have not done that. And people are saying that third round is one of the most memorable of that battle. I mean, I don't know. I thought it was, again, kind of cheesy, but the crowd went mad for it, so it must have went down quite well.
Yeah, it was incredible. I mean, you've got to think that a lot of people were there to see you. You know, a lot of fans were sort of coming. I think it was like an under-16 event or something. Obviously, the Grist thing happened. And for you not only to give in a great performance, you know, but to pull out this kind of showstopper. I appreciate it'd been done before, but, you know, most people were kind of ignorant to that fact, myself included. And it was really well put together, very impressive. Like, you know, you must have felt on top of the world, man. The H1 battle was great. The Grist battle was into the stratosphere. The Lego battle, you establish yourself. It's crazy.
It was a good run. I'm not going to lie to you, man. I started to feel really comfortable doing what I was doing, and started to like me because you know he picks his company very wisely. So I mean, having those 3 battles in a row, I was pretty happy, man. Like the Lego battle, man. I'm so happy with how that came out. If somebody asks me to show them one of my battles, I'll always tell them to watch either Lego or Pamflit, but Lego more time. But I'm still a bit weird about the decision, though, and that's just my personal opinion. Again, I'm probably kind of going back to my absolute testament in the second round about one-liner jokes, but I feel like it was a debatable one for sure. Some people say I won. personally, and I'll tell you if I think I lost something, as I have done in this interview. I think I won that personally, but I won't argue with judges that say that I didn't, because that is their decision. And by the sounds of it, it's kind of mixed down. It's kind of split down the middle, isn't it, for people that think I won and people that think Lego won. But that's the beauty of it. Like, you go into it, and one day you might watch it and think I won, and the other day you might clock on something that Lego said and be like, actually, yeah, he won that round, so that means he's now 2-1 rather than Blizzard being 2-1. You never know these days.
Yeah, you don't. And, incredibly close battle, definitely. Pedro in the judging says it's the best battle he's ever seen. At this point, he gives.
I think he said that about two. I think he said that about two of my battles. I think he said that against. I think he said that was the best battle I've ever seen live, and I feel like he said it in one of my other battles as well.
I think Pedro's memory.
Like me.
I don't know his memory's that great anymore, so I think every battle he sees is the only one he can remember. So yeah, and then we have Def looking very stylish. He goes with Lego as well.
Def always looks stylish.
Yeah, looking great.
He's a dishy motherfucker.
Yeah, certainly he is. Yeah, and Sayo's there as well. And yeah, Lego does get the win, but similar to the Grist battle, it's kind of, you're not a loser, like, quite the opposite, really. You give a great exhibition of your talent there, and we don't get too long before the next battle. You face Lego, another one of these kind of gatekeepers, the old guard, is Pamflit. Great battle. How did this one concur?
Facebook. Yeah. Weirdly enough, we were chatting, and I think it was on a Chronicle status, because I feel like Chronicle was part of Don't Flop North at that point. But basically, Pamflit said, I've never lost a battle in Manchester. So I said to him, do you want to have your first loss? And then Pamflit was like, cool, let's go. And then that battle just came to fruition from that. And quite simply, yeah. It was basically like a bit of shit talking, and it resulted in a battle I'm kind of happy with, yeah.
Right, his Oedipus complex has left him feeling pretty frail. Basically, part of him wants to breastfeed his mother and leave her shit impaled. The gay side wants to kill her because she isn't male. So you a thug now, Pamflit, yeah? I hate you, the damn boss. You fans have got Pam watched, I make music, and what? If I killed you right now, I don't think you'd be that cross, because you could dance with your father like Luther Vandross.
Talk to me about Pamflit as a battler. You're a big fan going into this.
Pamflet's great, man. I've always liked Pamflit. He's one of the few that can actually pull off the jokes and make it not seem forced. And lyrically, he's very talented. I think I hate the term pen game, but what he writes is of a very, very good standard, and it always has been. And he's one of the most consistent for doing that. It's very rare that he chokes. It's very rare that he stumbles over his words. He's very polished, and I like that about him. And he's just one of the nicest people as well. And I went into it just expecting a good battle, man, and wanting to dethrone him and get him off his high horse about never losing in Manchester.
Yeah, I mean, interesting, Don't Flop at this time, obviously, a lot of interest coming into the league from external sources that might not have been there before. I don't know if you remember this, I mean, there's no reason you should, but in amongst the sort of standard Don't Flop adverts, your snapbacks, your weed stores, etc., there's like just a student advert for sort of discounts off student life and stuff. It's quite weird, actually. I've not really seen that before. And
I don't remember that.
Yeah,
that's odd.
Yeah, it is odd. Very, very anomalous. And an advert for your debut EP as well there in the beginning.
Oh, yeah, Sooner Than Never.
Yeah.
Break a song, yeah.
So, Love and Waviness, is that right as well?
Yeah, Love and Waviness was on that EP, yeah. I did the A64, the acoustic version, I think maybe a week or so after that, but the track that was on the Lego battle, the Pamflit battle, I think was Love and Waviness, yeah. It was. I never knew that you could actually get, when people were promoting their music, I didn't think it was a good idea at the start. I used to always see it like a Lee Scott battle, and it would be Children of the Damned album out now, and I didn't think it would really help. But I'll be honest with you, man, with the Pamflit battle, it did actually help my EP sales a little bit, so I was happy with that.
Yeah, no, for sure. And Taylor Adams, / Pamflit there, Judge's CD is his album that's being released well there, so that was of that time. This is Summer Blam, Night and Day Cafe, which I actually saw a Blam event in just before this, I think, so I have been there. Quite a cool sort of venue.
Blamoween was there as well, actually.
Yeah,
Blamoween there.
Yeah, there was a few there. There was, Sense of PH, I always remember going down there, which is kind of like a sort of northern
Dope
classic,
battle.
like amazing battle. We're
Very
going
overlooked.
we're going so far back in Don't Flop that is bigging up Mickey Worthless in the intro.
Yeah, no. Oh god, if only he knew.
Oh my god, yeah, just the madness, the machinations of Don't Flop and battle rap in the UK is crazy. It's the first battle of the night, one of the biggest of the night. Pamflit kicks in here. You're so young, you have to get Villain to buy you beers.
Yeah.
He's gonna jack you for your Premier League stickers. We have a sort of a cannabis reference, like John Cena's mom's sneakers.
What did he say? Which was his one?
He said John Cena.
Oh, is that what he said?
Yeah, yeah. So
I thought he switched it and did his own version.
No, because Cannabis's one was Tom Cruise mom shoes.
Oh yeah, of course
Yeah,
it was.
so
Sorry.
he went with
I
the-
forgot. I thought
yeah.
the John Cena one was Cannabis's first. And I was like, jeez.
No.
Yeah.
Pamflit obviously is genius. He has these kind of
course.
impressive multi-chains. I love how he ends the first. He's like, I'm like Bender rapping with a better accent.
That's fire.
Yeah.
Very, very good.
You said the battle in your first, you said it took 45 minutes to start because he was powdering his nose?
Yeah, I don't know why. That was just something I prepared in the time. It was, I don't know what happened. I feel like Pamflit wasn't anywhere to be seen. The crowd was just too reckless. I don't know, but basically this was like before Don't Flop got venues with curfews, because the event definitely did run over time. It did take about like half an hour-ish to get that battle up and running after the break. So I was just anxious. I just wanted to get it done, man, because I think I was the second to last battle, because Psychosis and Sensor's battle was after mine, and then that was it. But yeah, it did take a while to start. I can't remember the exact reason.
And, fair to say, Blizzard, you go very harsh in this battle with the dad stuff.
Yeah, that's true. But the thing is, I did actually ask Pamflit what he doesn't want me to say, and he said, just don't mention my girlfriend. So I was like, absolutely fine. And the reason why I went so deep was because I've seen it in previous battles, like when he battled Oshea. Oshea said your dad's favourite song is Knock on Wood, and he didn't even like blink or show any sort of emotion. So I just thought, maybe he's kind of inviting me to be as harsh as possible. So I did go for the shock value a lot. Got a lot of stick for it afterwards as well. But in retrospect, I think it was a good angle to go for, because he could have flipped. Like I wanted him to flip it. Really, I wanted him to kind of rebuttal it, and I think he did a little, but not really going into much detail. But I know Pamflet's a great freestyler, so I wanted him to kind of, render my points obsolete. But yeah, I did go really harsh, to be honest.
Yeah,
Bless
I mean,
him.
I'm sure, sort of.
I apologise for the record. I do not mean any of what I said. It was just it's a battle.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, yeah, I'm not sort of hanging you out for anything. I know it is.
No, yeah.
It is, I mean, essentially, battle rap is pantomime in its purest form. It's theatrics. We're not having any verisimilitude here. But if you killed him, he could dance with his father like Luther Vandross. His dad doesn't need an Oyster card. The last time he went underground.
So bad. That's so bad.
Shit like that.
No.
And then some I'm a fan of name flips and name play in battle rap, and I quite like Pamflit. Take the PMT out. There's always filler in your name.
Yeah.
Hard.
Give the rest a shake. Thanks, man.
Yeah.
I don't know why that. Afterwards, I said he had PMT as well.
Yeah. No, it's such a fruit. You constitute 15 of my 5 a day, which is pretty strong as well. Really, really good stuff here as well. And Pamflit talking about in the third, fuck most of your views, all the bars off the mark, like most of your views.
Like most of your views. That was amazing.
Yeah, really good. I mean, Pamflit's crazy stuff. And kind of putting in that I'm an adult, you're a baby kind of idea here, sort of thing, and kind of common theme that goes throughout. You do some more dad jokes in the third. Not AMC. You look like The Walking Dead.
Yeah. That's all right, isn't it?
Yeah, no, not bad. I mean, we had a lot of sort of, you do a Breaking Bad bar as well, which kind of, replete in this era, but still really good. And you say, I can rap darker, grimier, faster, and you kick up the flow, and you kind of end the battle with quite a flourish of technique.
Thanks, yeah. I was happy with that. I do feel like I rushed it a bit, though, in retrospect. But it did all right. I think some of the stuff got a bit, like, lost in the muddledness of my delivery. But the thing that I was most happy about was that the last 2 lines got the reaction, which was the organic asked you to go king of the dot, you think he forgot. As long as that got a reaction, I was happy. But I don't know if the reaction came from just the whole novelty of Blizzard's rapping fast, let's cheer, or it was the fact that the line was good. But hey,
and I mean,
it is what it is.
I mean, let's talk about King of the Dot overseas stuff. At this time, you and Grist were amongst the biggest names in the world in terms of views, recognition. Did King of the Dot ever reach out to you?
They did, and what happened was, I think Organic wanted me to battle 24/7 in Canada, and not only was I not really up for it, just for the fact of I didn't really feel like I deserved it, but I also didn't have the money, and I would have done it if they'd paid for my travel, but I think they offered to give me a bit of money towards it, and I couldn't scrape up the money in time, and didn't want to put that pressure on me to do so, and say that I'm going to do this battle, so I just decided to let it go. But I don't know, man. King of the Dot's great, don't get me wrong, but I just don't think my material would fly there, because I've seen a few times where Euphorical went out there a year or so ago, and it's just the whole battle was just people talking over him, and I just felt it was sad, really, because Euphorical was actually hitting him with some good stuff. I think he was battling Miracle.
He was.
And I don't know, man. I didn't feel like my stuff would go down that well, because I've never been doing this to be the best MC or, be the funniest or anything like that. I just liked it, and that was the be all and end all. But I didn't want to go out to Canada and represent my country when there is maybe 20, 30 people that are way better than me, way more skilled, and would put on a way better show. I don't think Canada or the UK deserve that. Who am I to represent the UK? You know what I mean? I had one viral battle and lost most of them, most of the other ones. So yeah, it didn't really appeal to me, to be frank.
And I mean, okay, so you didn't go out to the internationals, but the internationals, came to you in the form of Rone here in the in the Birmingham event. This has got 775,000 views, which is just
for that.
I mean, but that's a mad number anytime. That's a lot of views, and I think obviously both you contributors. Rone isn't a huge views guy either. He gets viral shine here and there, but I don't think he's a kind of towering titan or whatever. But I mean, how was Rone offered? Is Rone someone you wanted, or?
That's really interesting, actually. Right, with Rone, it's I can't remember exactly how it happened, but I knew that I liked Rone, so I just thought, oh, what the hell, let's do it. And it's an opportunity to go to Birmingham and battle there. And I mean, again, another battle I don't think I deserved.
Come on, you deserve.
Definitely. But the thing is, though, it's I guess again, own worst critic, but there were so many other people in Don't Flop at that time that weren't getting the battles they deserved, and then I'm getting offered Rone, and it's just I don't know, man. I'm serious. You seriously want me to headline this event? People don't come to events for me. They come in for internationals. I thought Rone would be a better fit against Euphorical at the time of that battle. And I think Euphorical only had one battle at that point. But I also thought Rone and Tony D would have been a good battle. And in retrospect, I should have prepared more for that, because Rone is a bona fide veteran, and there's no two ways about it. And I went to the event very hungover in a car with blood stro and bent legs, I believe, and I should have prepared way more. I was very hungover, didn't really care that much. I guess I was kind of a victim of my own prophecy by being very complacent, to be honest with you. So I didn't really go into it with fire, with the fire that I'm going to do really well. I just kind of doubted myself from the very, very start. I thought, it's either going to be a debatable or he's going to win. You know, I didn't have that confidence, but I still thought I've you know, in for a penny, in for a pound. I've said that I'm going to do it now. Let's just do whatever. But yeah, the battle was good. There was some good points. There was some bad points. I had a really good round about the whatever it was that happened.
The
with
Sandusky.
The teacher. Yeah. And I choked on it, and all I could do was just think of something, and I just fucking freestyled. And I had a really good round. I can't remember any of it, but I feel like that round was really good. But I was very nervous, and yeah, that battle was Rone came with it, man. Like, absolutely abolished me.
It's one of the best Rones I've ever seen.
Yeah, by far, yeah. Like top 5 Rone performances, maybe even top 3. I'd push it to top 3. Because he had a lot more to prove, I think. Because I don't know if Rone was even that aware of me at that point, but I think sold it to him on the kind of idea that you'd get loads of views out of this. Mm-hmm. And Rone wasn't massive at that point, but this is when grind time was just about going, and Rone was still doing battles, and he battled Fresco, and he battled like Prophet and loads of different people, and he's very talented, man, very, very talented, and makes great music as well, so I have to give him some respect for that.
Yeah, no, definitely, and the guy's killing it now as well. I think he's on like Barstool Sports, and he's like podcasting. Really? Yeah, he's like a proper like correspondent and shit like that. So yeah, no, he's killing the game right now. Obviously.
That's amazing. Fair play to him, man.
No, yeah,
he deserves it.
No, yeah, he's doing very, very well. And yeah, no, it is a decent battle. So we'll get to the demo battle that we teased a while back. You teaming up with Pedro versus Most Prob and Einstein. Where was this?
That was it's just by Oxford Street, kind of going down towards Great Marylebone Street. I can't remember the road, but it's just by the McDonald's on Oxford Street, and I can't remember. I think it was just an impromptu event where people just went there, had a drink and rapped. And I went to watch, being completely honest with you. I didn't go there for any material. Everything that was in that battle was freestyled. Everything. And I feel like someone was supposed to be battling, and then I've always rated Most Prob, and Einstein was there. And I just thought, yeah, let's do this. I can't remember the exact inception of the battle, but I do feel like me and Pedro were way up for it because Pedro likes my stuff and I like Pedro's stuff. So it just happened really randomly, but funny battle, man. I still laugh at that battle now.
I mean, like, freestyle-wise, how sharp were you at the peak of your powers? Could were you very comfortable in this kind of 2-on-2 environment?
I've never done well. That's the first 2-on-2 I've ever done, and also the first battle that was full freestyle. Oshea was after that. Right. But I was doing a lot more freestyling over beats, and honestly, if you was to say to me a year before that I would do a full freestyle battle, I'd say you were joking. And because it's just, I never thought I would be that person like Tenshu, where he can flip the whole round with 1 second. I've never been that person. I've never really been too confident in my freestyling ability until like last year, being honest with you. Like, I've had some car crash performances where I thought I could freestyle, my debut included, and I was just helping out. I just thought that I'm here. I think I had a little bit to drink. I had nowhere to be, and I was having a good time. Like, Bamalan was there, Cracker, obviously everyone I battled with, Rapunzel, Big J. It was a laugh, and I just wanted to be a part of it. I just had the hunger, because after the Rone battle, I was doubting myself a lot, and I just wanted to carry on. I just wanted to do music. I really didn't like the idea of going back into the battle ring again, and I had some really good people thrown at me at the time, but I didn't take any of them. But yeah, that was just something that came out of absolutely nowhere. But it's quite a funny battle. Yeah.
I'm definitely going to go back and watch that. Now we get to the next battle, which is the only Blizzard battle that I've seen in person. I was actually here watching you versus Oshea.
So was you?
Yeah, I was there.
Did we meet? Did we meet?
No. This was. I mean, I was not that I'm not a nobody now, but I wasn't even battling or at the podcast. It was years before the podcast. I was a student in Liverpool, lived in the city centre, and this was in the city centre. I don't know if you remember. Like, it was literally.
Yeah, I remember exactly where it was.
Great.
Up that it was in that thing, wasn't it? It's like you go upstairs.
Yeah,
it looks like we have something called Affleck's Palace
Yeah.
in Manchester, which is like a boutique, the like 3-floor thing. It looks like that. It was a great venue, man.
Yeah,
Actually,
it,
really
it
good.
was. It was a huge venue. It had a huge kind of dome to it, a balcony, and kind of the screen behind. And I remember the getting there, and I think Oshea Madness was the proposed battle, but this was like a 24-hour, couple of days prep, was it?
24 hours on the head, yeah. It was Bent Legs that actually approached me and said, "Do you want to do it?" And I felt really bad for Oshea, dude, because you know what? Oshea is really cool, man. And like, I was performing in Sound City, which I think that was a festival that is in Liverpool. Mm-hmm. I was at the Brooklyn Mixer, and I needed a place to stay because I was performing late, and Oshea was the first guy to approach me and put me up, fed me, kept me hydrated with many different types of drink. And yeah, finding out that he had this battle with Madness, and Madness, I don't think his visa checked out or he missed his flight. Whatever happened. But when I found that out, I felt really awful. And I thought to myself, like, I definitely owe Oshea a favour somewhere down the line for letting me stay at his. And, you know, he's always been a cool guy. I think he's bought me a fair few drinks when I've been skint at events, I'll tell you that. But when I found that out, I just had to do it. I just felt so awful. I thought, if no one else is going to do it, I'll do it. And if I fuck up, don't really care, because at least Oshea gets to battle. If he gets paid, he gets paid. I'd rather him battle and use some of his throwaway material that he can use against me and still get his money. I just wanted to, it was a free pass to an event. I got my coach paid for and stuff, and I had nothing on. And I just thought it'd be nice to help him out and help the league out. Yeah. So this is when I was very loyal to Dovlot. Keep in mind.
Yeah. I remember being in the crowd. I was with two of my friends. One of my friends went to sit down or something, and he came back just for the battle. He was like, "I just saw Blizzard," and I was like, "What?" And he goes, "Yeah." He was like, "I just sat down," and he sat near me, and he was just going over his bars, and I was like, "Blizzard!" I was just like, the thought of it was starstruck. I mean, this battle,
it was so underwhelming. Eh?
Yeah.
You had Madness, and now you got me.
Well, it was very. I mean, it was a 24-hour prep battle, but obviously both of you were quite skilled freestylers. O'Shea especially revels in that kind of ramshackle kind of nature. Still quite an entertaining watch, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I think I've skipped quite a bit of my stuff, but I mean, O'Shea, man, he's always on fire. Like, even at his most terrible, he's still hilarious, and he's so watchable. Like, there's very few people with that much replay value. So regardless of how that battle went, I wanted to do O'Shea a solid, and I thought it was absolutely awful what happened. That 24 hours later to find out that the person you were going to battle and you've been preparing for weeks just didn't turn up.
Yeah.
Same thing happened with Moss Prob recently going out to Denver. I was speaking to him about this the other day, actually. Uno Lavos no-showed him in Denver, and Moss Prob had come from Brighton, and it broke him. Like, I could tell that just really hurt his confidence. And I've never been no-showed, weirdly enough, but I've had a lot of friends in the league that had, and that must hurt. I can only think that if you're preparing for 2 or 3 weeks and you're expecting this battle to go on the channel, you've got a day off work, you've saved up money so you can drink, to find out that the reason you're there is no longer happening, that must be pretty shit.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't wish that on anyone. I mean, I wouldn't do it again for anyone, don't get me wrong, but with Oshea, coolest guy, and I wanted to help out, so yeah, that happened.
Yeah, I mean, I can't remember too much about it, but, it was...
Neither can I.
Yeah, but nonetheless, you guys battled 190k, standing out as well, and, I think anyone that clicked on it wouldn't have been disappointed, but this marks a long break, 18 months, essentially, of you not battling. What was the mentality? You battled a lot in a short period of time. Were you sort of burnt out, or...?
I just felt like I'd lost the hunger, being honest with you. And I felt like with the time that I could have been preparing for, like the time I was preparing for battles in the past, I could have been writing music. And I felt like music lasts for a long time. Yeah. Like I listened to albums that I found 15 years ago and they still mean a big, big deal to me. But the battle demographic is quite fickle. And one person goes, one person comes, and et cetera, to the nth degree. I didn't really feel like it was serving a purpose for me anymore, and the whole thing that I was talking about earlier being pigeonholed, it was becoming true, and it was getting to me a lot. And I don't know, man. I just started to think to myself, I would rather go to an event and enjoy it and not participate and just watch everybody, because that's when it's the most fun for me, man. And I was going through some shit as well, like life-wise,
Right.
and I think I was about 2 years. I think I'd moved to London at this point, and I was struggling, worked some pretty dead-end jobs, was struggling for money, and ballooned in weight, had no self-confidence. But this isn't Dr. Phil. Basically, shit
Right.
went down, and I just didn't really feel it, to be honest, bro. And like, I barely got paid anything. I think the first time I ever got paid for a battle was when I filled in for Madness and battled in Liverpool. And I'm not going to say it was like kind of offensive, but I just felt like the offer would have been nice, just to pay my travel, like small things like that. And I started to get very bitter about it, because I'm seeing people come through and getting 500, 300 quid, and like, people, you can pay Shotty, but you can't pay me. And it's like, where do you draw the line here? It's like, I personally feel like everyone should have been paid at least 100 quid for a battle, because of the views that, like, don't Flop's AdSense on YouTube, big money, man. Not gonna lie to you, I feel like 1 million views on YouTube is around 1,200 quid, and I gave him 5, so it's about £6,000 or something like that before cuts.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like, why are some people headlining events and not getting paid? That's absolutely abysmal. I don't care about money at the end of the day. I work a 9-5. I've got a fly in London. I'm cool. Like, I don't really care about money. I just enjoyed it for when it was good. But the fact that some people were and like, people would turn their nose up at paying travel for somebody. Like, I had the thing that was the nail in the coffin for me, dude, was Revival in Manchester. And I was supposed to battle the 2-on-2, which I know you spoke to Old English about.
Yeah.
Me and Villain against me and Carlos against Villain and Old English, and it didn't happen. Something stopped it from happening, and then I said to Briggsy and Old English wants to step in and just battle me now 1-on-1, and there was a bit of money there, and I think it was all getting like 150-ish each, or like maybe I was getting a bit more, I can't remember. But I said, because Old English is helping us out, making sure there's a main event, he should get a bit more money, because he has stepped up to the plate and said, I will help and I'll make sure there's a main event. They didn't offer him a single penny more, and that was really hard for me, because Old English is my dude for life, innit? And I'd expect a bit more kind of courtesy, in a sense. And the Revival event was pretty tough as well, because Quill no-showed me at the event.
Yeah.
And it was a bit of a fucking kick in the face, man. Not going to lie to you. I was very offended, because I've travelled all this way. I know it's Manchester, it's my hometown, it's a trip home, whatever. But at the end of the day, he could have battled me, regardless of the kind of quarrels that he was having with on the day in regards to travel. He could have still done it and just left with honour and, like, proud of what he's done. But he didn't. So I performed my shit on stage on my own, because I was that angry, and I was like, you know what, if you're not going to battle, I'm going to fucking say the words at you while you're there and see how you like it. I didn't get paid like a third of what I was supposed to get paid. And like I said, I know it's not all money. I didn't really come and, live up to their promises, and then that was the nail in the coffin, really. But yeah, we've gone off on a big
No, please,
tangent, Tom.
please, don't apologise for these talents. They're fascinating insights into the minutiae of Don't Flop. And let's talk about the Quill event.
Yeah.
Were you laughing when Soul addressed that event?
Hilarious.
Yeah.
Hilarious. And I was so glad that someone said it to him. I really was. I actually like Quill, don't get me wrong. We used to live around the corner from each other when I was living in Colindale and he was living in Hendon. And we were supposed to link up a few times. And I know that he likes my material. Even though he said shit about me in a video, like dissing me, it was all for views. And I know that he's just that kind of person.
Yeah.
He's a laugh. And he's very, like, I did lose a bit of respect for him that day, but you know, we live to tell the tale. It's all good. I don't hold grudges, mate. You know, I'm not that kind of person. I like to clear everything up and move on. But the Manchester event was a disaster, an absolute disaster, and that was supposed to be my like bowing out battle, you know. And it was just supposed to be like, I've not battled in Manchester, I don't think, since Pamflit, and that was about 4 years, and I just wanted to be part of it for one last time because, you know, I feel like the two battles that we haven't spoke about, Shonda Rhymez and Double L, I wasn't happy with either of them, so I just wanted one good battle, which was going to be the 2-on-2, and then with circumstances, it went from, you know, me, the 2-on-2, to then me versus Old English. That didn't happen. Me versus Quill, 3 days prep, and it's like, what? One round? And I've been preparing for 2 weeks for this guy, and it never happened. Disaster. Absolute fucking disaster. But things happen for a reason, mate.
Yeah, and let's just backpedal quickly. Yourself versus Euphorical. This sort of came out of some genuine beef, or was that some more theatrical?
Theatrical, mate. Not at all. Anything. No beef whatsoever. Euphorical, another nice guy. He started an event. He asked for me to do it, and he, you know, offered money that I'd never seen from Don't Flop, and I'm like, dude, this is your debut event, and you're offering me that. I would have done it for half of what you just offered me.
Right.
And I just felt like for 6 years of being at Don't Flop, and you offering me twice of what I've made 3 times more than what I've ever received in the whole time I've been at Don't Flop for a debut event. You really want me here. You actually care, and you want me to battle you. I'm going to do it because I have respect for you. Didn't take too kindly to it because he had that Manchester event where Shotty battled Tony D, and he asked for me to be on it, and I asked for some money, and he said he didn't have it or didn't want to give it me. He didn't think that I was kind of worthy of the money I asked for, but I kind of felt like bit of a misjustice, to be honest. But I'm probably going to come away from this and listen to the interview think I sound like such an arrogant mug. But no. I just felt like at the end of the day, everyone should be paid, bro. Everyone, you know. The idea that like it's sad to me that there's some battles with a combined 2-3 million views and they probably haven't earned a penny from Don't Flop. They haven't even got their travel paid for, because if you don't ask, you don't get. And some people are too scared to ask because they think they'll get parred off or not get their spot anymore. But, you know, it's just I just wish that I feel that rather than some people like Arsenal coming over and getting 3 bags, like everyone getting 100, 200 quid, everyone would be happy. You know what I mean? Like, I would be, if my fee was 10 grand, which it isn't, obviously, if my fee was 10 grand and I found out that nobody else was getting paid, I feel so bad I'd probably end up splitting it with the person I battled, because who am I to get more than somebody else for doing the exact amount, the exact workload? It's not fair, man. So, yeah, just something I think anyway. The idea that people aren't getting paid for doing Don't Flop, ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Absolutely stupid.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know if you saw recently, but there was not at the time you're speaking of, but huge ad revenue issue with YouTube where lots of kind of the monetization was slashed, often by 80% or something like that. So
I feel like there was something to do with. I saw a lot of vloggers talk about this in regards to if your content contains profanity, any misogynistic, any kind of anti-Semitism, it's going to clash. It's going to slash your AdSense money, and don't know how much I agree with that, because I feel like at the end of the day your content is still bringing in revenue for YouTube. You shouldn't be slashed, but some of that money should be split with battlers, man. I reckon that Don't Flop has made probably about close to 100 grand off YouTube ads, honestly.
Yeah,
I'm quite close to it. People like KSI drive Lamborghinis off YouTube money, you know what I mean? People like Zoella, who's that big fashion blogger girl.
Brighton Mansion she's got,
her stuff's in Superdrug, bro.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, her stuff's in Boots, and she's a fashion blogger. She makes money, man. She had enough money to make her own fashion line, like makeup and stuff. And you're saying that Don't Flop don't have enough money to pay Crafty 200 quid or something like that? Like, get out of it, bro.
And I mean, final 2 battles then, just go through quickly. Yourself and Double L, you weren't fond of this battle, you said?
Don't know. Guess it's kind of self-confidence, because I hadn't battled for a while and I'd ballooned in weight and I just didn't feel very confident about myself. But Double L is great and we've had a fair few good times in the past at events and at my house, which I mentioned in the battle.
Yeah.
And yeah, compliments grind battle, man. I just thought it was a hilarious concept, and I was really happy with my material, but I just don't think it came out very well, and I don't think the event was great either. The Harry Baker Ogmios battle was so bad that they had to do it again.
Yeah, they did. The audio was just kind of garbled, like a Dalek, I think someone in the comments said, and it definitely
Pretty
had
much.
that.
I actually I was the interim DJ for the last few beats, because the DJ got kicked out for saying something about Bagnall, and I think it was something quite horrible, like personal, said something to him, and then Bagnall punched him, but then he got kicked out, DJ. So there was no one playing the beats, and I was just there at the crowd, in the crowd. Not even that, on the crowd. I was on the stage. So I just decided to fucking play the beats and do all the reloads and stuff when the bars were good. But yeah, man, that was a disaster as well. Jesus.
Yeah. There was I think a lot of people were saying there was just slightly too many illegal substances, taken at this event, and it just kind of led to this slightly haphazard sort of thing. And final battle, which was uploaded pretty much a year ago, give or take a month. Yourself versus Shonda at this Poets Battlers event. Quite an interesting proposition this was.
It was definitely really cool. It's good as well. Like, I'm really into this event because One Extra are my peoples for life. Like, they are the people that helped me with my music career. They were the first people to play me. Yasmin Evans, who's great, Mancunian, she was hosting it with her, and my girlfriend was helping out because she works at One Extra. She was helping with that event, helping to pick people. And mate, they were actually looking to get Benjamin Zephaniah. How sick would that be?
Right, shit.
Yeah. So I think the idea was Harry Baker against Benjamin Zephaniah, but it never happened. I think he's probably too busy being a Peaky Blinder. But yeah, that event was actually cool, The Shonda Rhymez battle took me by surprise a lot, probably more so than the Grist battle, because the stuff I'd seen of Shonda when she was... she's Vanessa Kasuli, that's her poet name. Her poetry is very internal, very kind of... She's a pretty active and prominent feminist, and she says this. And, she writes about her feminism. She's very articulate, very intelligent, but I did not expect her to be so gruesome and cruel to me in that battle. She was very, very cutthroat. And I don't know if you were picked up on this, but a lot of people on YouTube did. I kind of took it back a bit too much. I was a bit too relaxed. I didn't really hit her with many haymakers. It was just more like very... lackluster material, if I'm honest. But I thought that material was going to win, and it didn't. And I guess I was quite rusty, being honest. But I did not expect Shonda to be so good, and I was very foolish to underestimate her like that, because she was on fire.
Yeah,
absolutely on fire. And now she's a big part of Don't Flop. I think she's done a few more battles now,
she
like
has.
2 or 3.
Yeah,
and. Yeah, she's amazing. She battled Zayn Oswald, didn't she, as well? And, yeah, man, she's great. And she's lovely as well. And, yeah, in retrospect, I should have been a bit more gully and said more things like I did against Pamflit. Right. But, hey, yeah.
Yeah.
Hindsight, eh?
Yeah, exactly. And, I mean, it's been almost a year, as I say. Any urge to battle again since, or...?
Nah, not for me, mate. I don't know why, because I feel like if I had a better run, like from Rone, well, no, more like Lego onwards, I could have carried on and, done more stuff, battled bigger people, but I just lost the hunger for it, dude, and Don't Flop started to become a bit of a mishmash of craziness, and there was a lot of egos, and I wasn't enjoying events that much. And one of the things that really got me was I went to the Liverpool event when I was battling Double L, the April Fools, and a guy came up to me and said, "Oh, Blizzard's here, innit? Look how fat he's got." And I was like, "Wow, that's harsh, man." And I kind of brushed it off because I was a few red stripes down. But when I got home, I was like, shit, like, that is the kind of fan that Don't Flop have now. Like, they'll troll on Viewpoint, they'll rip the shit out of you on YouTube, but they'll ask for a picture when they see you. I don't really like that, and it makes me feel a bit uncomfortable. And I haven't been to an event since, to be honest, since the Liverpool one. I don't really plan to. I've been asked, like, Gift of the Gab keep asking me to go down to their events, and King of the Ronalds, and, like, I just haven't had the urge to really go back, because I just watch them on YouTube now. It's more convenient for me, and I'm in a bit of a role with my music. Actually, I'm working on this production, this like alias that I haven't told the name of to anybody but my partner and a very close friend. But I'm working on this bonobo DJ Shadow-esque project.
Right.
Like basically, like if you take Portishead's Dummy or like Mezzanine by Massive Attack and mix it with Apollo Brown beats, it's kind of what you'll get. And it's going to be full length, like 12 to 15 track album, just showcasing my production. I'm kind of working on whether to tell people it's me, because at the moment I'm a bit kind of stuck with my decision, because I know that the Blizzard name has a lot of kind of things attached to it, like being a battler, being a grime MC, saying all this stuff, and this production is way more internal and way more experimental, so I don't want to kind of confuse people that are into the Blizzard stuff. You know, if you listen to Testing the Water or like Neckbreaker or any of my Sooner Than Never EP and then compare it to the stuff I'm working on now, you'd be thinking that I've just took it from somebody else because it's so different. But yeah, I'm happy with where it's going. I'm trying to get the urge back to rap as well again. I've not wrote for a while, but I'm kind of just finding my own in production again. You know, I haven't really felt this confident in my production since I produced the Shotty stuff, and that's about 4 years ago. So yeah, we're gonna see where that goes. And with battling, mate, even if you offered me 10 grand now, I'd say no, because it's just not me. I don't think I'm confident enough. I don't think I'm good enough. Too many good people have came through these past few years, and if I was a battler now, still, I'd be what they call middle tier, if that. And I probably would be on demo. I'd probably be on Don't Flop Extra, because, you know,
training days
Heretic now, and yeah, we have training days. You know, we have Heretic now, and we have like Scoop and amazing UK battlers, Gemini, Yunan's back, just everyone, mate. There's so many, like, yeah. I just don't think I'm good enough anymore, mate. Sounds so stupid and sounds so like, oh, pity me, but no, I just don't really think I'm there. And see what happens with my music, though. I'm going to do my production, do my record some more material down the line, and see what happens, really.
Yeah,
see if I find some gold somewhere.
And I mean, music wise, I guess social media wise as well, how do people follow you, listen to your stuff?
Yeah, so I am Blizzard on Twitter, SoundCloud, Instagram, Facebook is, if you search Blizzard Musician, you'll find me. Reddit, I am Blizzard. Yeah, find me. I'll be around.
And, I mean, we'll wrap up with a few quick questions then, Blizz. The first one being your favourite Don't Flop battle.
Wow. Damn it. That's really good.
Yeah.
I know my favourite battle of all time, but it's not a Don't Flop battle, but I'm going to think about what my favourite Don't Flop battle is. Probably... I was a big fan of Shock's Old English, you know, I'll be honest with you. I thought that was an amazing battle. I also liked Unanimous against Disaster.
Yeah.
Great battle. Going a bit further back, Nestle O'Shea was amazing to watch live. Absolutely amazing. If I had to break it down to just one, though, wow. Oh, fucking hell, man. Soul C major.
Yeah, classic.
No, actually, you know what? Soul Raptor.
Soul
Fucking hell,
Raptor.
man. Yeah, so I'm going to go with Soul Raptor, but my favourite battle of all time is Disaster versus No Can Do. I don't think anyone has ever done that good a battle in 2 days prep, ever.
Right. Okay. Well, I mean...
So good.
So you got your favourite Don't Flop, you got your favourite Grind Time there. What about, do you have a King of the Dot favourite?
Pat Stay Holohan, hands down.
Oh, classic.
Great battle. But I'm also kind of leaning a bit towards Iron Solomon versus B Magic. Another great battle.
Oh, so good. So good.
I know. Yeah.
Oh, man.
B Magic's a king, man. But Iron Solomon, he got a lot of hate after the URL performance against Mook.
He did.
And then the last 4 or 5 battles, he just came back and rocked it.
Yeah. His comeback has been astonishing. Yeah. It has.
He's like top 5, I think, at the moment.
Yeah.
He's up there with, and he's up there with like the Pat Stays and the Hollows for sure, man. Definitely, and the Charlie Clipses and the rest.
Certainly. And URL. Do you have a favourite URL clash?
Ooh, no, that's a good question. I like Hitman Holler versus John the Don.
Of course.
I love that battle. Soul Calm versus Fox.
Nice.
That was great. Hollow's most recent, I can't remember which battle it was, where he's saying about words with friends.
Oh yeah, the
though.
awkward
Charlie Clips. Hollow's
yeah. They got apps for that. Yeah. What about
Yeah, they got
apps for that. So final two questions. Your favourite movie?
Ooh, shit. You can't ask me one movie, dude.
I know. Give us a few. Blizzard's favourite classics. Come on.
Waking Life.
Oh, nice. Richard Linklater. Film. Yeah, nice. Yeah.
Absolute magic film. Requiem for a Dream. Classic. What else is there? Well, I wish it was a film, because I'd watch it if it was, even if it was in the cinema. First episode of the first season of Twin Peaks is basically a movie. Let's be honest. Great. Absolutely recommend that. And Snatch. It's one that you can watch all the time. Yeah. Fucking hell. I could be here all day. Memento.
Of course.
Scanner Darkly. God. Yeah. So many.
Oh, so many. And finally, I've got a feeling I'm not going to know what the answer is, but your favourite musical artist or band that aren't hip-hop related?
Radiohead.
Right.
But I'm a bit difficult, because I go through the stage where I listen to Radiohead for a year straight, and then I discover somebody else. I'm really into Royal Blood at the moment. I'm really into Royal Blood, and I'm also into Hacktivist.
Right.
Chemists I'm really into at the moment. I've gone back to my Pendulum as well. Also listened to that Metallica album as well. No, Metallica album with Sad But True.
Oh, the Black Album, yeah.
The Black Album, absolutely magic.
Yeah.
I could be mate. That's my shit, bro. Like I grew up when I was like 14, 15, after the Radiohead stuff, discovered Lamb of God, and I was like, oh my God, what is this? I need to hear more. And then I discovered like System, and I discovered like Anthrax and Slayer. I mean, Rain in Blood, best riff of all time, surely? Gotta be? Definitely? Yeah.
It's up there. If you say so, Iron Blizzard, then,
Yeah, well, it's either that or Comfortably Numb. Two best riffs of all time. But then you've also got stuff like, come on, Enter Sandman, dude. And you're a Metallica fan, so you've got to say that's top 5 Metallica riffs.
I wouldn't put it in my top 5 personally, but it is a great Metallica riff, definitely.
Okay, what's your favourite Metallica riff then?
Probably the bridge riff to Blackened. I don't know if you've heard that off, and Justice for All. Okay. Yeah, it's the album they released before Black Album. Kind of their bass player died, and they went very inward, and lots of time changes and odd solos, and amazing song. Was
this when Dave Mustaine was still in Metallica?
No, Dave Mustaine left before they recorded their first. Well, he's kicked out before they recorded their first album. Yeah,
but that was when the bass player died in the coach accident. Right?
The bass player died after their third album.
There was one of them. There was one of the Metallica members that died in a car accident.
Cliff Burton, their bass player. He died after Master of Puppets when they're on tour in Sweden. And I'm actually getting Cliff Burton's dad on my Metallica podcast next week.
That's amazing, dude. That is amazing.
So we're gonna go through all of his sons. I mean, his son was 24 when he died. It's so sad. Like the amount
waste of a life, man.
Oh my God, the amount of genius music he contributed.
It's like when it's like the Viola Beach story. Do you hear about that?
Oh, that band, awful that was.
Yeah, I mean, it's like some of the best musicians are taken from us early, man. 23 Club, Jim Morrison, Janis Joplin, even like Amy Winehouse. All the rest.
All of them, man. Kurt, obviously, as well.
Of course.
Just, all these
I feel like Elliott Smith and Nick Drake were quite young.
Oh yeah, Nick Drake was very young.
Or something.
Yeah. Nick Drake, who there's no video of him performing, doesn't exist
ever. I know.
Oh, it's mad.
It's crazy that. Yeah, I think that's amazing though, because that reminds me of like the Searching for Sugar Man facade, and like how Rodriguez never performed facing the crowd. He always performed to the back, like with his back to the crowd, and I just think that's an amazing thing. You know, some musicians have these personal, unique tags that make them relevant, like how MF Doom has the mask, and how Ozzy, and with the bat on the stage, and there's always that one thing that always brings you back to that artist. and Tom York is Lazy Eye. You know,
Yeah.
there's always that
Yeah.
one thing that you associate with that artist, but.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
I guess Blizzard. He talks
all
out. He
day.
talks out of his mouth. You know.
I knew you'd say that. Fuck, man. Yeah, I knew you'd say that. Everyone says that, and I don't know why I do it, mate. I really don't.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
I think we need to do a whole other music resume of just talking Metallica, Radiohead,
that
and
would
the
be
rest.
great. That would be great, actually. Like, obviously, I'm nowhere near as knowledgeable as yourself on Radiohead, but I am quite a big fan of the band, so it would be that would be really good to talk about as well. But as for now, Blizzard, this has been a fantastic episode, man. Thank you so much for coming on.
My absolute pleasure, bro. And yeah, it's been an honour. Thanks, mate.